bringing blockchain to farmers to save their income, covering 1,400 warehouses and 5,500 plus farmers across 5 states and 2 million US in dispatched loans. Supported by United Nations Development Program, IIM Ahmedabad and Mass Challenge USA. He's also a blockchain educator and has taught 5,000 plus faculties, PhDs and students belonging to India and 6 plus countries since 2020. It's an honor to have you here with us, Abhishek. Thanks a lot for joining. Over to you.
Thanks, Megha. Thanks, Ankur and everyone. I hope I'm audible, visible as well.
Yeah.
Both good to go. All right, and I'll share the screen soon. And hi, I see that we have 76 attendees here today. Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon. Thank you for joining this session. Over the next quarter to 2 hours, almost, we will cover some ground across understanding customers, across understanding the market, the competition that's available in the market, different use case for everyone, and then understanding while working on your product, understanding the product market fit. There is also a concept called product zeitgeist fit, which we may or may not cover today, but we'll get an idea. Achha. And in addition to that, I know that there is a difference in the kind of audience which we have today. So some are very fluent in English, some किसी को I think Hindi ज़्यादा preferred होगा. So I'll try to do this. I'll try to, if there is something complicated, first of all, I'll go slow. We know that this is a mixed audience, and I've been doing this with Pusa Krishi since last year as well. And the kind of audience, I won't go fast. And also, whatever, if there is something very critical in any of the topics that I'm covering, I will try to repeat that again in Hindi, so that people who might not be very good in Hindi first understand the English part, and secondly others can understand कि हिंदी भी समझ आ जाए जिनको पहले इंग्लिश में नहीं समझ आया उन्हें. बाकी अगर पूरा फॉलो ना हो पाए तो प्लीज चैट में जरूर लिख दीजिएगा. चैट मेरे सामने खुला हुआ रहेगा मोस्ट प्रोबेबली, तो चैट में जरूर लिखिएगा, एंड आई विल ट्राई टू चेंज एंड कोर्स करेक्ट एज नीडेड. अदरवाइज अंकुर एंड मेघा आर देयर टू हेल्प अस. All right, thank you so much, and let me get started here. I'll start sharing the screen. Please let me know, Megha, Ankur, anyone once you start seeing the screen.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Share screen. One second. All right.
Yeah, it's visible. Your screen. Yeah.
Visible. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just got a notification that my internet connection is a bit weak. So in case you don't hear me, please write in the chat. Again, I'll have the chat open. So yeah. Till then I'm just keeping the video off a bit, but I think it should be clear. All right, guys. Again, welcome to the session. Understanding the customers and the competition. That's what the topic is, and I've already told you कि हम क्या-क्या cover करेंगे इसमें. What all topics individually we'll go through as well. So let's go ahead. All right. So Megha has given a very good introduction about myself. So I'm co-founder of a company called World, and World is India's largest blockchain platform. And what we do eventually, हम करते क्या है वो ये है कि हमारे इस प्लेटफॉर्म को यूज करके farmers can get very easily, they can get loan. बहुत आसानी से, जो पहले 13 से 15 दिन लगता था, वो अब within 5 minutes, real time speed, farmers of the country can get a loan, and banks are our customers. So banks है जो ये लोन देते हैं, and that's how the entire ecosystem works. And other than that, Megha has already told about me. My credentials are on the screen. मेरे contact details है screen पे. किसी को screenshot लेना है, reach out करना है बाद में, please feel free to do that. Though मैं blockchain ज़्यादा share करता हूँ, blockchain वाला knowledge, but yeah, product and market and all are also my forte. All right. So for the next 120 minutes, approximately 100 minutes, we can say, the purpose is going to be to introduce a customer-focused mindset, which in turn will help you understand the markets that you are in currently, understand the competition that you are facing currently. Many segments, like in India, for us, हमें खुद इंडिया में direct competition ज़्यादा नहीं है, लेकिन हमें ये पता है कि बाहर जाके क्या कंपटीशन हमें मिल सकता है, या क्योंकि हम एक ब्लॉकचेन प्लेटफॉर्म है, ग्लोबल अप्रोच है, तो वहां हमें क्या प्रॉब्लम्स या फिर क्या कंपटीशन मिल सकता है. सो दिस अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज व्हाट आई रिसीव्ड, आई अंडरस्टूड, टुक सम टाइम. डेफिनेटली समय लगा इस पूरी चीज को समझने में. ये प्लेटफॉर्म शुरू हुआ था 2019 के स्टार्टिंग में, आज 2021 में है, एंड लास्ट कुछ ही महीनों में हम इतना टोकनाइज कर पाए हैं एसेट, जिससे कि हम इंडिया के लार्जेस्ट ब्लॉकचेन प्लेटफॉर्म बने हैं. बट तब तक की जो लर्निंग है, आई थिंक दैट इज गोइंग टू हेल्प अस टुडे, एंड दैट हैज हेल्प्ड मी अंडरस्टैंड द मार्केट, हेल्प्ड मी अंडरस्टैंड माय कस्टमर्स, माय कंपटीशन एज वेल, and that is what I'm going to impart today. So I believe that it will be, valuable to everyone who's present here. And then we'll also take some questions at the end of the last 15 minutes or so. We'll open for questions. If we have, else we'll end early as it suits us. So this is what, why we would want to do this, and enable you or encourage you in building further an agri-focused startup. Of course, today's focus is completely agri. This is what the agenda looks like. I think internet is better, so I'll just switch on the video. So yeah, this is what the agenda looks like. We'll start with some status quo. देखेंगे क्या numbers है चारों तरफ देश भर में, कुछ specific numbers जो हमें target करना चाहिए as an agri focused startup. Now I'm an agri fintech startup. Someone here might be a completely agri startup, an agri tech startup. There are differences, but we'll try to understand that which number is valuable for which kind of a person. Then in between, so even though you see this as the second part here, just 1 second. Yeah, even though this part you see it is as the second thing on the agenda, but what we are going to do is, this is my experience from what we have built in the last 2.5 years. That is going to be your key takeaway, or whatever takeaways I can give you over these 2 hours. And not only just as a whole we'll cover my solution, but in between, where I have designed this lecture in a fashion that in between, wherever I believe that there is a relevant concept being discussed and we have learned something out of our journey, I feed that particular information in there. So it will be coming in between. It is not like, we will be discussing world for 1 hour at a stretch. So please expect that. Then we'll see that how to attack the customer mindset, then understanding competition and markets. This is where we study product market fit to make it work in the market, ताकि आपका प्रोडक्ट जो है वो मार्केट में अच्छे से काम करे, या एक स्पेसिफिक सेगमेंट जिसको आपका मार्केट टारगेट कर पाए. आई थिंक इंटरनेट का प्रॉब्लम है, सो आई जस्ट स्विच ऑफ द वीडियो अ बिट. या ओके, सो ऑलराइट. सो ताकि आपकी जो प्रोडक्ट है, पूरा का पूरा प्रोडक्ट नहीं भी हो, तो कौन से फीचर्स है जिससे आप प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट, जो पीएमएफ है, प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट आप अटेन कर सकते हैं. दैट इज व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी देयर, एंड देन वी विल गो. ऑलराइट. So, some thoughts to motivate you towards building an agri startup. Thoughts actually mean that we'll see some numbers that are going on in the country currently. I believe that everyone is from India here, if I'm not wrong. So we are going to take a look at Indian numbers specifically. India definitely, has startups in plenty. It has, it has more than 50,000 startups. There are a lot of programs which are being built which are being created for startups, not only government programs, who's appreciating, including, one of them. Then there are so many other programs, but also there are certain, very entertaining actions that are being taken. For example, Shark Tank aa gaya abhi India mein recently. It is starting from 20th December, I think, and it is trying to bring in more focus on Indian startups. Now is more than ever the best time to start up in India, especially also if you are into fintech, agri fintech, any kind of fintech basically. Right now I think बहुत ही सही समय है कि आप इंडिया में स्टार्टअप करें, क्योंकि इतना एनकरेजमेंट गवर्नमेंट से आपको मिल रही है, इंस्टीट्यूशंस से आपको मिल रहे हैं, देन इतने सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स चल रहे हैं जो कि सिर्फ स्टार्टअप पे फोकस करते हैं. आजकल तो इवन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम वेरी अर्ली एज, 15, 16, 18, 20s, इन देयर 20s एंटायरली. काफी लोग आप में से 20s में होंगे अपने. So people are doing a lot of startups here. So it is the right time, and you can see that the path that they are following is directly to IPO, right? Many startups have just IPO, very common names that we knew, but we knew that they are startups, right? Zomato, MapMyIndia, then all of these, right? All of these, PolicyBazaar, Paytm, all of them have been startups. Oyo coming up with their IPO very soon. So all of these startups are not very old, but now this shows that how right and ripe a time this is in India to start. In India, as we see, 50,000 plus startups already there, but out of that, agri-tech startup, registered ones, of course, ag-tech startups is very, very less, 1321. And then fintech is going to be much, much more because fintech has flourished a lot, especially in India nowadays. In fact, India, I think you would be knowing, is I think the largest fintech industry that is there. With such advancements like UPI and then other payment solutions, then cards and ease of doing business in fintech, it has catapulted India into a very premier position as compared to any other country. बट एगटेक देखे 1321 फिनटेक देखेंगे तो होंगे काफी होंगे हजारों होंगे आई डोंट हैव अ नंबर टू शेयर बट वो हजारों हैं एग्री फिनटेक काफी कम है शायद से 300 400 800 700 maybe again I don't have a number but it is going to be less than this 1321 I'm a bit sure so this is a very low number as compared to the total number of startups that are there so what more startups किस चीज के बारे में and why not agri tech startups more when especially when even until few years back or even a decade back, the total in India's GDP, the total agriculture का जो share था, which was greater than 15%. Now it has dipped down. So when such an important segment is agriculture, India is a country of farmers. When there are so many farmland, so many farm holders, small marginal farm holders, and large farm holders, all kinds of farm holders are there. Then why is this number so low? AgTech and also see AgTech is going to take the agriculture forward. Agri-fintech is going to take the farmer forward. So this is a very very critical difference that I always share in my classes. That we also have a slide on this soon. तो हम ये difference हमेशा मैं दर्शाना चाहता हूँ कि AgTech, Agri-fintech में क्या difference है critically and उसका customer कौन है. Most probably, see, agriculture as being an agri-tech startup, you are going to fast forward India's agriculture. We know that. Why? Because you are going to bring reforms. I mean, you are going to bring, good technology which makes farming better, right? And that improves farmers' life. On the other hand, agri-fintech what fintechs would try to do is they would want to bring in better payment solutions, receivables finance, better, credit card schemes, Kisan credit card scheme kind of things. Then real-time loans like we do, loans against pre-harvest loans, post-harvest loans, all these kinds of things which also make directly the farmer's life easy. So ये critical difference है AgTech and Agri-fintech में. We'll again come to this very soon. So this is something that should be very concerning for you all to look at right now, which many of you have already done because you've entered this domain altogether. Now, another statistics in India or anywhere, actually, this is very constant across most of the countries. 90% of startups fail, 9 out of 10 fail. I think this is a metric, I'm not sure, but one of the advertisements also I saw that they said that 9 out of 10 startups fail. I don't know if it was Shark Tank India or not, but somewhere I saw, the first thing that people know is 9 out of 10 startups fail. Another interesting fact here is that, as I've written here, is that 10% fail within the first year. And I can give you first an account of that. This is my third startup which I'm doing world. ये मेरा third startup है. इससे पहले जो दोनों startup मैंने किए थे, पहला startup मैंने शुरू किया था जब मैं college में third year में था. अगला startup था after passing out, and then this is the third startup after a few years. So in both the times, my first two startups, I had actually failed. My startup, we had closed our startup within 1 year and few months. So consider it like 1 year itself. So I can tell you that yes. Now running a startup which has crossed the 2.5 almost quarter to 3 year mark. So this is like दोनों मिला के पिछले दो startup मेरे इतना नहीं चले जितना third startup मैं अभी तक continue कर पाया. This gives a very blatant learning to me कि कहाँ difference आता है, right? And that's something I'm going to also try to delve into deeper today. I believe that the core difference here is that once you cross that 1 year, 1.5 year, quarter to 2 year mark, which means that you have some kind of a revenue, or you have some kind of funding, or you have some kind of grants. Either of these have to work. If you have some kind of good revenue, then you don't have to worry, because if you are net revenue positive, then to worry करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. And then even eventually you will get a good funding as well, because your valuation will be very high. Again, please let me know. Let me see if there are any chats or not. Please let me know if I'm going fast or too much in English or too much in Hindi. Please let me know. Then so once you cross that mark, आप या तो फिगर आउट कर चुके हैं कि आपके पास रेवेन्यू मॉडल क्या है आपका, या तो आप फिगर आउट कर चुके हैं कि मुझे फंडिंग कहाँ से आ सकती है, या आप ग्रांट्स का सहारा ले चुके हैं, जो कि हमने काफी हद तक किया. पूसा कृषि बीइंग वन ऑफ देम. very dear to us, and very helpful to us in our very early journey, and even helping till now. हम अभी भी उनके ट्रांच में हैं. So and it has been instrumental, which I believe कि आपके जर्नी में भी बहुत इंस्ट्रूमेंटल होगा ये पूसा कृषि का इन्वॉल्वमेंट. And so this is where so this is what helps a startup सस्टेन आप करेंगे 2 साल तक 2.5 साल तक, तो आपको आइडिया लग जाएगा कि हाँ कैसा जा रहा है स्टार्टअप. नंबर 1, वेदर आई हैव अचीव्ड अ प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट और नॉट, जो कि हम आगे जाके आज देखेंगे. दूसरा, whether I have a revenue stream or not. If I don't have a revenue stream, then do I have a funding scheme? Or if I don't have that, then do I have a grant stream, ताकि intermittently you get some grants and you're able to keep your company and your team alive. That is more important. If you are drained out of everything, if you are dry, maybe a very good startup which you continued for 2 years may fail later on if you have not planned it properly, or if you don't have those sources in place from an earlier time. जब आपके पास already 5-6 महीने का window है, बैंक बैलेंस है कि हाँ नेक्स्ट 6 महीने तक तो कंपनी चल सकती है इजीली विद दिस 5, 10, 15, जो भी आपकी जिस भी टाइप की आपकी कंपनी है, whatever is the type of your product, company, or the kind of work that you do, eventually it is going to be very useful that you are able to, whether you are able to manage your burn rate or not. आपका मंथली बर्न जितना भी है उस हिसाब से आपके पास at any point in time 4 to 6 months at least. 6 is comfortable, 6 is not comfortable, 6 is actually suggested, advised. लोगों के पास नहीं होता है, हमारे पास भी बहुत टाइम पे नहीं होता है, कभी-कभी 3-3 महीने तक हम उतर आते हैं कि अगले 3 महीने तक की ही बस बैंक बैलेंस है, उसके बाद मुश्किल हो जाएगा. So this is very important that you have 4 to 6 months of bank balance available with you, ताकि आपका स्टार्टअप चलते रहे. And then you have, and while that is at any point in time, once you have those 6 months of window in the bank, you have to understand that simple is I have to get another stream, be it a revenue stream, be it a funding scheme, be it a grant scheme, right? We have taken utmost help from grants. Guys, this is something that is overlooked. I have seen many startups not even going the grant way, not even trying to get some grants. On the other hand, being an agricultural startup, you have a very fair hand, right? You can say that out of all these 50,000 startups that we saw earlier, that India has plenty of startups. So India has a lot of startups. Here we should understand that if you are into agriculture, it is a domain that is very connected to many of the goals as needed by the government of India, the government. So in that scenario, what happens is that there are multiple grants that are available, including Pusa Krishi and others as similar. There are multiple grants which are available, which the government is happy to provide you, because the government also has, say for example, in our case also, the government has an objective to double the farmers' income. What are we doing? We are saving 40% of the farmers' income. जो हमारा प्रोडक्ट है वो क्या करता है, अगर हमारा प्रोडक्ट जो है वो फार्मर अवेल करते हैं, it gives them 40% का सेविंग्स, इनकम पे, अपने इनकम पे 40% का सेविंग्स आता है. The way we work, I'll come to that very soon. So हो रहा है, डबल हो जा रहा है, 1.5 times होगा, डबल होगा. So we are aligned with what the government wants with farmers. Now, on the other hand, so that is why we can apply for grants, and we are usually getting so many grants because our objective is same. Similarly, not only India, outside also, United Nations, right? United Nations has a lot of its arms. One, for example, again, I'm giving you real direct examples which we have got. United Nations Development Program. It is United Nations Development Program is also runs multiple accelerators, multiple incubators, multiple programs, जहाँ पे वो फोस्टर करते हैं कि ऐसे कौन से स्टार्टअप्स है जो किसी स्पेसिफिक मार्केट में, वो कुछ भी हो सकता है, वो बांग्लादेश हो सकता है, वो some country in Africa हो सकता है, it could be China, anything it could be there. But अगर आप इंडिया तो डेफिनेटली हो ही सकता है, आपको प्रोग्राम ढूंढने की बात है बस. जब आपको वो प्रोग्राम मिल जाता है, अगेन दिस इज aligning your interest with UNDP's interest, and then you can get a UNDP grant as well, which because you are also want to help farmers, so they'll help farmers via you. Very, very important. And this is, please guys, if you want, you can write it down. Seek government fellowships or government grants. Seek international grants like United Nations Development Program, World Bank, UN Technology Bank. इन सारों का नाम आप गूगल पे सर्च कीजिए, आपको साल में 1 या 2 बार इनके ग्रांट्स मिलेंगे, right? जो वो ओपन होंगे, आप अप्लाई कीजिए टाइमली. And if you are helping, then of course it's all on the selection process. But there's a lot of possibility that you will get a grant, especially if you're in a social impact segment. Google SDG program is also something that we just entered 1.5 months back, which is like Google's program for SDGs, startups focused on SDGs, which is Sustainable Development Goals. आप सभी को पता ही होगा 17-18 सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स हैं, उन पे आप अगर फोकस करते हैं एंड आप अल्टीमेटली इफ यू आर वर्किंग इन दैट एरिया, again United Nations, Google, India, then the Indian government, all of them would be very much have some program for you. All right, so why did we spend so much time here on this part, whereas the slide was not even about that? Because this is going to be very instrumental in how to keep your startup running. We many times don't have a stable ourselves world, many times in the past and even in the current time does not have a stable revenue flow because we're a very new startup. We work with governments, we work with banks. All of them have long sales cycles. स्टार्ट होता है, उसके बाद 12 महीना 15 महीना चलता है. सो 15 महीने की फोरकास्ट करके कोई चल नहीं पाता है, बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता है as an entrepreneur, as a founder. So you would understand that how do you keep yourself alive? So this is how we have kept ourselves alive. And we have a good team of 15 people, not a huge team, not a very small team, but we are able to keep them live in the last 2.5 years because we were able to get some grants. No funding, no external funding yet. And we are a bootstrap company, and then grants have come in with a lot of efforts, and that has kept us afloat. All right. So yeah, as we were discussing earlier, that the first year, crossing the first year is very, very important. It's instrumental. Now, okay, can someone just confirm? I'm still audible, right, Megha? Because the Zoom video panel just went away, I think.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay,
completely audible, Abhishek.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. So yeah, so within the first 10%, within the first year, 10% of those startups fail right away within the first year because of so many issues that we know. As I said, funding. Mostly it is because of funding. Another very important, आप नेट पे आपको मिल जाएगा ये कि क्या रेशियो है of all the reasons why because of which startups end, right? Startups are finished. First of all, of course, is funding. Another is co-founder relations. If you're not very well connected within the internally as founders, it's a huge issue. Another big issue is not attaining product market fit. That comes around 1.5 to 2 years. तब तक आपको लगता है आप सही कर रहे हो, but 1.5-2 साल लगाता है मार्केट 1.5-2 साल लगाती है आपको ये बताने के लिए कि आपका प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट आया है या नहीं आया. उससे पहले यूजुअली नहीं होता है. बहुत सारे केस अपनी खुद की भी देखी हमने, फिर केस स्टडीज भी देखे काफी, जहाँ पे यूजुअली 1.25 साल 2 साल लग गए हैं, जब फिर कंपनी को पता चला है कि प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट तो हमने अटेन किया ही नहीं. So that is an important time period where you have to be very much vigilant about what your customers are saying about your product, what kind of interaction you are having with your customers, what kind of usage of your product is being done by your customers, because that is the only thing that says. अभी बहुत लोगों के पास ये अभी बहुत लोगों के पास ये सुविधा नहीं होगी कि पूरी की पूरी आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस टीम है जो आपको ये सीडीपी प्लेटफॉर्म बना के या डेटा एनालिटिक्स के थ्रू बता रही है कि ये प्रॉब्लम है. बहुत लोगों के पास ये पॉसिबिलिटी नहीं होगी. मैंने पुराने कंपनीज में अपने खुद भी किया है ये काम, बट करेंटली वी डोंट हैव द रिसोर्स, वी डोंट हैव द मैन पावर. सो थॉट प्रोसेस होने के बावजूद भी हम नहीं कर पाएंगे. अभी हम अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते कि एक 5 लोगों की सिर्फ AIML की टीम हो. Okay, if they are not directly contributing to the main revenue source, to be very honest. And I believe that every one of you are in the same boat, most probably, right? Because you're in this program and you're entrepreneurs. I'm presuming that you are in the same boat altogether. So that's why the only way to do it is to notice manually जितना हो सके कि आपके customers क्या कह रहे हैं. या तो आप उनके साथ डायरेक्ट कॉल कीजिए, हर महीने 15 कॉल कीजिए, आपके enough data आ जाएगा. I once did a call with few of my farmers personally, even that was 1 year back. And I got so many insights about my customers. That was a part of my product market fit strategy, by the way. So as a founder, I spoke with them and I got so much clarity about what my customers want, right? I got not only that, I got clarity about मेरे customers है किस type. Based on that, what we did was we redesigned a very important part of our system. क्या था? पहले हम लोग would like to share this part. What feature change did we do? Our solution is accessible to the farmer via mobile phone. Android phone है, उस पे जाके आप हमारा ऐप यूज कर सकते हैं, and the farmer can easily request for a loan via the same app. On the other hand, many farmers just told that 70%, 67 to 70% farmers out of the people whom I interviewed did not have a smartphone. Okay, even if they did have a smartphone, they didn't have they had a feature phone जिस पे app चलेगा नहीं. So it is like for us, it is like more or less the person not having a smartphone or not having a phone. So for us, that's a completely offline kind of a customer. So ये हमें समझ हो गई कि even if a lot of people have started having phones now because data packs are less and then easy to access phones, then cheap phones and so on. Uh, but still, farmers either didn't have a smartphone or they lacked the technical skills to even operate an Android app. So for that, we'll have to deploy sales team anyways who can guide them over the phone. But even then, it is a bit difficult for them to follow through. So then what we redesigned was we completely, included the same thing in our panels, web-based panels, which we have provided to the people in our warehouses. So क्या है हमारा model क्या है कि warehouse में farmer they keep their goods in the warehouse and then they take loan against those particular goods which are kept in the warehouse. और इसकी एक receipt है जो बनती है उनको available हो जाता है app में. So the warehouse in charge को warehouse person को जो हमने panel web-based panel दे रखा है उसी में हमने ये फीचर डाल दिया कि अगर आप कोई फार्मर है जिनको नहीं है, जो नहीं यूज कर पा रहे एंड्रॉइड ऐप या जो शायद से कंफर्टेबल नहीं है टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ या है ही नहीं उनके पास फोन, तो आप क्या कीजिए, आप फार्मर को अलाउ कीजिए या उनकी हेल्प कर दीजिए कि दैट यू आर रेजिंग द रिक्वेस्ट ऑफ द फार्मर ऑन देयर बिहाफ. ऑलराइट, सो यू आर रेजिंग द रिक्वेस्ट ऑन द बिहाफ ऑफ द फार्मर. बट चेंजेस चाहिए इसमें, सो वी डिड अ चेंज because so that कुछ गलत ऐसा ना हो जाए कि warehouse इंचार्ज बिना फार्मर की अनुमति के अप्लाई कर रहे लोन. So we just introduced a new feature which is a recording of the farmer where the farmer says that हाँ मराठी में they say it because we are very much Maharashtra based. So मराठी में they said that कि माझे नाव अभिषेक है, मेरा मैंने ही ये agreement दिया है कि हाँ इस प्रोसेस को यूज किया जाए, ऑनलाइन लोन प्रोसेस को यूज किया जाए. And this we made available to the bank and it was solved. So banker knows कि okay ये गलत नहीं है, ये farmer ने खुद बोला. So based on this we were able to convert much more. अभी उल्टा हो गया है. So once we attained kind of a fit with that strategy, now it has become a bit different. It has now we are seeing that suddenly gradually people have become so comfortable using our app. Even if we are telling them on call that कि आप warehouse जाइए एंड आपको वेयरहाउस जाके इमीडिएटली आपका लोन लग जाएगा, वहां उन्हें बोलिए हेल्प के लिए, एंड देन वेयरहाउस पर्सन सेज दैट कि आप ऐप से भी कर सकते हैं, वो जाता है ऐप से डाउनलोड करके लोन लगा लेते हैं फटाफट. दैट हैज बीन अ वेरी रेवलेशन फॉर अस दैट कि हाउ कस्टमर्स चेंज. सो नाउ यू कैन सी दैट इफ वी वर स्टक ऑन समथिंग व्हिच हैपेंड 1 year 1.5 years even very early days of our time and we just used with that same mindset and कि कभी और इंटरव्यू नहीं लिया हमने, ठीक है 3 साल में एक बार कर लिया. पर जो आज की दुनिया है, जो जिस तरह से प्रोडक्ट्स चेंज होते हैं, कस्टमर्स की रिक्वायरमेंट्स चेंज होती है, राइट. आज आपको फोन पे लोन चाहिए, कल आपको फोन पे खाना भी चाहिए होगा, परसों आपको फोन पे 50 और चीजें करनी होगी. तो कस्टमर रिक्वायरमेंट्स ऐसे चेंज हो रहे हैं तो फार्मर्स की भी चेंज होंगे. ऑल काइंड ऑफ कस्टमर्स वुड हैव दैट चेंज, वुड फेस दैट चेंज. दैट इज व्हाई one interview maybe 3 years back is not going to be valid, right? So because we were able to do these things, we were able to tap on the nerve of the particular customer segment and what do they need now. 2 साल पहले क्या था कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, क्योंकि 2 साल पहले हो सकता है जो 8,000 में फोन मिल रहा था उनको आज उनको 5,500 में मिले, which is very much affordable. So हो सकता है 60-70% people immediately get converted कि हाँ अब तो ले लेते हैं, घर पे एक तो ले ही लेते हैं, right? Either if it's their son or daughter who are using the phone, but they take some time in between and they can apply for loan. इससे बेटर रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट उनको एक ऐसे डिवाइस पे कभी नहीं मिल सकता एंड दे माइट बी गोइंग फॉर इट. सो दैट इज वेयर वी आर. एंड गाइस बाय द वे, आप अगर अभी स्लाइड्स देख रहे हैं तो ये चीजें स्लाइड्स पे नहीं है क्योंकि ये पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है, ये काफी हद तक प्योरली व्हाट वी हैव फेस्ड है. सो आप प्लीज अभी स्लाइड्स को मत देखिए, आप सिर्फ सुनिए बिकॉज़ आई बिलीव दैट दिस इज वेरी वेरी गोइंग टू बी वेरी वैल्यूएबल टू यू एज वेल बिकॉज़ इट हैज बीन टू अस. सो या एंड लेट मी चेक ऑन द चैट वंस. चैट में भी कुछ नहीं है. ओके, धन्यवाद. कुछ भी होगा तो प्लीज चैट में लिखिएगा. All right. So failure, but yeah, coming back to the slides now, that failure due to competition comes after 3 to 5 years. So 1.5 to 2 years product market fit, you start understanding that my product is not a fit. If you start understanding, again, that depends on that completely depends on that completely depends on the entrepreneur. If you are a founder who does not put focus on what the customer is saying, what the customer wants, right? आपने सिर्फ एक कॉन्टैक्ट अस फॉर्म लगा दिया है जो कि मॉनिटर भी नहीं होता है कि कहाँ वो जा रहा है, या आपने आसान ही नहीं रखा है कि आपके कस्टमर्स आसानी से आपको रीच कर पाए. then that is a negative sign, by the way. And this negative sign is also visible across your investors, right? They always have a nerve on what you are doing as an entrepreneur, right? So now, basically, when the market has tried telling you that, hey, your product is not a fit for the market that you're trying to achieve or trying to target, if you listen to it that at that point in time, maybe you will be much better off in this 3 to 5 years range. In this 3 to 5, okay, I don't know why it's not working. Yeah, so in this 3 to 5 years range, when your competition will take over the features that your customers were requesting you, because they had a nerve on the customer segment as well, and you faltered there. So now your customers would start seeking, start building those features, and it will take it, and you will see an exodus of people, customers moving from your platform to others. See, very simple, right? People used to use, for share market and IPO and all of these things. People used to use Access Bank's product, and ICICI Bank, जिसका जो बैंक था, जहां अकाउंट था, वहीं पे डीमैट अकाउंट खोल के आप लोग हम सब शेयर्स के लिए अप्लाई कर रहे हैं, आईपीओ के लिए अप्लाई कर रहे हैं. कॉम्प्लिकेटेड प्रोसेस, यूआई भी अच्छा नहीं. Then comes a startup called Zerodha, who knows what the customer wants, and then immediately, not immediately, but very soon, within years, becomes India's largest platform altogether. No bank is able to compete, right? So these things show you that this was definitely not an agricultural example, but ये examples सबको पता है शायद. So these things show you that people who are having a tap on the nerve of the customer segment are going to win at the end of the day at any cost. And so yeah, if you don't listen to your customers in that 1.5, 2 years duration, then within 3.5, 4, 5 years, you will see that how come suddenly customers over the last 3 years have moved from your platform to say another agri-tech platform. Then you'll get to know that, okay, because you did not listen to your customers. That is how important this is. So the seeds are sown from the beginning itself. Your product market fit should be attained right when at least when you, as soon as possible. If you do it within 6 months, best, nothing better, right? But eventually, just hold on. Yeah, sorry for the background noise. So all right, so here, yeah, but gradually you will understand that where you're losing, right? So that is how important this particular factor is. Okay, as an entrepreneur, another number to share. As an entrepreneur, how promising is your future? Definitely, the promising future is definitely there, especially with the state of events right now in India and many such countries. Future is definitely there, but how promising? Just take a look at, and this is not an India specific number. This is a global venture funding for agri-tech startups, not subdivisions like agri-fintech or only fintech or stuff, but overall agri-tech startups since the last 5 years, 6 years. You can see that millions of dollars have gone into the agri-tech companies in the last few years. Most of them, you can see that 2018, 2019 paved kind of a pathway, or paved kind of a stage at which an agtech company would want to reach, and that is when the investments were at their highest. 2020, understandable, and that too, this is based on August 14, quite understandable, because COVID came, and this must have dipped further, right? This must have further dipped down here. This in fact, after this would have further dipped down, because clearly COVID has had a huge impact on global funding, and everyone immediately, even us, even us, when we started our funding discussions back in 2020 with some people, we were getting, early 2020, we were getting a different kind of a discussion, right? But now when we try to do the same, we see that, okay, COVID has started playing an important role, right? And people are very focused about the businesses which will work well even in this kind of a pandemic as well. All right. So this is, but yeah, as an entrepreneur, you should see that, India mein kitne startups hai, right? India mein there are 1321 agtech startups. Even if we talk about this, and that what kind of funding, what kind of funding situation is currently in India, you can understand that a large part of this can be those Indian startups, because India has a lot of VC funding going on currently as well, and also has a lot of startups too. Right. So then this becomes a very encouraging factor, I believe.
Abhishek, we missed you.
You could not hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, Abhishek.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, someone, I think, did Ankur say something in between?
No, no.
Okay,
Please
okay, okay.
continue. Yes.
Right, okay, okay, okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, okay. I've got a lot of messages. All right, thanks, guys. So yeah, but yeah, so this is what how the state of affairs looks like in the terms of foreign entrepreneur, in the terms of global venture funding, and also funding in India internally. So this gives us a good ground for getting into ag tech, agri fintech as well. I'm mostly into agri fintech. That's why. Okay. Another statistics here, right? 138. There are total 138, approximately 138 million farm holders in India. Mostly, most of them, a huge percentage is going to be. I don't have a number to share here, but a huge percentage of them are small and marginal farmers. Small and marginal farmers who are not very well to do, who have 2 to 3 or 4 kind of hectares of land per person, per farmer, and they are not very well to do, and any kind of product that is geared towards making their lives better is going to work in India pretty well. We have seen it ourselves. Banks, warehouses, warehouse corporations, governments have become extremely interested in what we are doing. We are not expected we have not expected this entire this gamut of opportunities that we've got, support from everyone everywhere. So we did not expect that, but we saw that, okay, because our idea is aligned, with what the government wants, what the farmers want, right? The farmers want real time loans, and that's what we were able to provide. Now, the farmers, also the banks want fraud-free loans. They don't want to face frauds, which is what they face, in millions of dollars every year. So वो भी एक चीज है जो banks चाहते थे कि उनको avoid हो जाए. So we created a network, एक simple platform बनाया हमने, blockchain platform बनाया. उसमें जो प्लेटफॉर्म वाला पार्ट है, जो रियल टाइम लोन्स दे सकता है, वो फार्मर के लिए बहुत ही आसान हो गया कि 13-15 दिन की जगह 5 मिनट में लोन मिल जाता है. ऑन दी अदर हैंड, जो ब्लॉकचेन वाला पार्ट है, आप लोग ने सुना ही होगा, आप बिकॉज ऑफ बिटकॉइन एंड अदर्स, बिटकॉइन और ये सारे क्रिप्टो करेंसी की वजह से ब्लॉकचेन काफी फेमस हो गया. बट जो ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी है, इवन विदाउट एनी क्रिप्टो इन्वॉल्वमेंट एंड स्टफ, इट्स अ कंप्यूटर साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी, राइट? इट्स अ कंप्यूटर बेस्ड टेक्नोलॉजी, right? It's a core technology and industry 4.0 technology, you can say, which helps in preventing a lot of frauds, which helps tremendous frauds, preventing a lot of frauds from happening, which is where the banks are interested. So they used to face, millions of dollars in frauds, and then we came and we give them this, this vision that now their frauds and problems and all of these things will be immediately curbed. So that is their interest. That is why they spend on us. That is why they. Okay, let me just admit all of these people, or else I think Meghna, you would be caring about that, right? Okay. All right. So I see that some people were waiting, so I just admitted them. Rest, I think Meghna, you can take care of. Okay. All right. So yes. So that's where we were. So these are all small and marginal farmers. And as we discussed just some time back, there was some time back, a few years back, total share of agriculture in India's GDP was more than 15%, which has now dipped below 15%. So this is where you see an opportunity which is getting created so that you can build products which increases this share. And how to increase this share? Of course, create better fintech products, create receivables finance, create supply chain finance, or create better farming practices or better farming, equipment which can make farming easier, better, profitable, higher yield, right? With more yield, per whatever land you are having. So that is the kind of agenda you should have as a startup, and that helps. That really helps, and it should be able to increase this share in the entire India's economy of agriculture, for agriculture, bringing it back to more than 15% and so. But yeah, you can see that if you're building something in ag tech, your target market is this. Your target market is 138. My bad. Your target market is this 138 million, or more. Sometimes it's going to be more, much more than that, as it keeps on increasing. So this is the kind of target market you have. So even if you have some competitions, you will still have a pretty big market, right? TAM, you'll have a pretty big TAM to address, right? And start with, maybe like we have started. We can start with a state like Maharashtra. Why did we start with Maharashtra? Because Maharashtra, first of all, we are based out of Mumbai, and secondly, Maharashtra is India's largest warehousing state. So Maharashtra is the state which is has the largest share of warehousing properties or warehousing, facilities in the entire country, right? I see there is a chat. Okay, will banks, fraud, farmers, and politicians welcome these technologies? These three are big badmash. Yeah. So it is a good question. In fact, it is a very good time I could pick Mr. Amitabh's question here. As you can see the question, it is, will banks, fraud, farmers, and politicians welcome these technologies, right? Now, fraud farmers is where our solution is coming. So that fraud farmers now, right? Politicians, I mean, of course, we are talking about government. So government, as I said, we are, for this as a case study, our platform is the perfect case study, I believe, because what our platform does is works with banks and works with governments, right? A very two categories that we are discussing here. Now, of course, not talking about individual politicians or their motives, but and not talking about any kind of traders. Especially farmers don't create such frauds. Traders usually do such frauds. Otherwise, farmers are mostly, even don't go for an NPA, right? They are very performing assets there, as we have seen in the records before, and also faced for us ourselves. We have 0% NPA. Okay, all of our farmers are paying on time. We have 0% NPA or defaults, right? So, and yes, we have seen that banks have come to accept this technology very, very, fairly, adequately. To be honest, even 3 years back, 2-3 years back, we were very skeptical on this कि blockchain को introduce करेंगे हम लोग, बैंक के सामने, तो ये लोग तो वो है जो कि blockchain सुनते ही उस टाइम में 2017-18 just think, right? Blockchain सुनते ही तो ये लोग भाग जाएंगे, right? What do we do then? But yeah, 2019, 20, all this time, we have spoken to almost every major bank in India that we know. Not a single bank. हमने भी ये नहीं सोचा था. So that is a very important point here, that not a single bank has told us that this is a solution that we don't need, or this is a product that we don't need. Many are in the discussion phase till now. Many don't have the budget, or many don't have the vision to do that right now. But not a single bank has said that कि ये तो अभी इसकी जरूरत नहीं लगती, because any bank who has been in asset-backed financing. So basically, it is all about asset-backed financing, right? It is commodity financing, right? So I'll just write it down here, which is not written on the slides. Asset-backed finance, right? Asset-backed finance or asset-backed loans. And then here we start with commodity finance, going against crops or the harvest that these farmers provide. So any bank which has been in this domain would know that the kind of frauds that they have faced. There is a slide where I show you that how much frauds have happened on these segments, altogether over the last few years, not few years, the entire decade or so, which the data I have. In India, China, US, everywhere. It has been constant everywhere. So we are also trying to go outside. We have tried, starting some partnerships in other countries as well. And we know that yes, after our research, we know that it is the same case everywhere. So talking about India here, it is very much the same. And do banks, from farmers, not fraud farmers, but farmers and governments are very much accepting of the solution. In fact, the first government organization that we started with was Maharashtra State Warehousing Corporation, which has 2 million metric tons, more than 2 million metric tons worth of warehousing space with them, which makes them India's largest. And we got them on the platform. So we now have 1,400 warehouses live on the platform. And we have done over, and with them, with Maharashtra itself, we have done over $500 million. It's not a million, it's $500 million of tokenized commodities, right? Deposits on our blockchain platform, which in turn actually makes us India's largest such blockchain platform. So we have got good response from banks, governments, and farmers. For this has been a lifesaver for them, because they were used to 13-15 days of loans, and now they get it in minutes, right? So this has been a very good addition to their lives, because see, they are not accustomed to Zomato and Swiggy and and an online share and mutual funds and stuff like that. This was one of the first items or one of the first products that they used from the comfort of their home, that too in a time of COVID. And just remember that earlier they were running post to pillar in banks for those 10, 12, 15 days when they could have been at the farm working, right? Because they are pretty much daily wage earners. So, they have to do their everyday work on the farm. So this they have avoided completely. Sitting from the home, comfort of the home, they're able to apply for a loan. The feedback that we've got, okay, telling you very honestly, feedback on phone that we have got, we have put some of them on the website as well, on our social as well. It has been phenomenal. It has changed the farmers' lives. So, and I believe that what you are doing today, I am not aware. I know some of the startups, I've seen the social of Kusa Krishi and other areas, but I don't know all the startups out of all those 100 entrepreneurs that are here, 101 here right now with us. I know that ultimately it is all about what you are offering the farmer, and I believe that many of you will be creating a lot of value in the farmer's life in India. All right, but here is when we come and out of numbers, right? We have looked at a lot of numbers. Now let us take some quick calls on what do we need to go ahead with, what do we need to decide. So this slide and the next slide, which is the difference between agtech and agri-fintech, a bird's eye view. These two slides should define our context for the next remaining part of the lecture, which is like what quick time check, 2:53, right? So approximately around next 1 hour, right? 1 hour or 45-50 minutes. I have a chat. Okay. Recently, so Mr. Amitabh said, recently we did not get compensation for floods for our ancestral farm in UP. Others uncles got a reason we had bank account in Delhi only, not UP. Will these be covered? Okay, I'll pick this up in the end, but I can also answer you here is because this is a bit different domain. This is not what we do. We are a post-harvest, so I might not be the right person to answer your question, Mr. Chaudhary, to be honest. But I'm not the right person. And because what we do, what I've been sharing here is that we are a post-harvest finance thing. So we just an asset-backed finance. We don't give subsidies. We are not the person who give the loans. Banks give the loans. So anything that is sold by the bank needs to be on our platform. And if you're a customer with that bank, then I think they can help you out. Otherwise, sorry, I'm not the right person here. Just going ahead. So here decide, and next is bird's eye view. So as a startup, okay, now we start some getting into real concepts, and in the next 50 minutes or so, we'll cover all these concepts as quickly as possible, and then we'll take up questions as well. So first of all, as a startup, can someone just come? Can just first 5 people who want to, or 3 people who want to say, what kind of a startup are you? Are you a B2C, B2B? Are you a B2B2C, or are you a B2G, which is business to government? What kind of a startup are you? Please, can you write in the chat maybe? Just B2B, B2C, क्या है आप लोग? यहाँ पे जितने भी 101 है, आपने अगर जैसे startup कर रखा है, let me get a hang of it, right? So what kind of a startup are you? B2B, and so Mr. Damodar has said B2B and B2G. Nishit has said B2B. Let's wait 30 seconds. Okay, direct to consumer, great. B2C. Okay. Mostly people are B2C, and who are others are also B2C, right? So B2C has been prevalent. We are B2B2C, by the way. We are B2B2C. Primarily, we are B2B2C. If you can see, so I got one B2B2C. Kind of, we are also B2G because we offer to the governments as well. But our primary business model is of B2B2C. Why? Because we offer to the banks, and then they offer it to the customers, right? So Mr. Amitabh is B2C. Great. All right. So thanks, guys. I got a lot of information, and I could see the trend that most of you are B2C. Some are B2G and B2C as well, but that B2C part has been common. So you are direct to consumer businesses, right? You are giving it. Maybe you have an app. Maybe you have an app which is being used by the consumer directly, which is also our. But we do it via a bank because the ultimate product is offered by them. So with this quick poll where I think 20-30 people answered. With this quick poll, now we have something that out of these 100 people, at least 30 odd entrepreneurs know this part, that they know that where you are right now and which is the kind of business model that you have, right? We have been B2B2C since the beginning. Also, one more very important thing is that at any point in time, you might be pivoting, right? At any point in time, you may pivot, that you have started as B2G, then you saw that it's not working out, काम नहीं चल रहा है, whatever might be the reason, and you shift to a B2B2C or a B2C directly, right? Or any of these changes also you can do. So either you are already have an idea that what your business model is doing, what kind of a business model you have, or you can pivot, right? If you don't have an idea, you either finalize your revenue model, you either finalize your product offering if you're in a very initial days, early days, otherwise तो आपका finalize होगा, right? या तो finalize कर लीजिए कि आपका product offer किसको होगा, and कौन उससे सबसे ज़्यादा benefit लेगा, and आपको pay कौन करेगा. Here for us, in this case, in B2B2C, for us the payment comes from this part. The payments come from the B2B part, which is the banks, right? For us, in our model, the customers, the end users, right? The B2C part, which is used by the farmers, the traders. For farmers and all, our platform is completely free to use. We do not charge a single penny for our farmers to use the entire loan lending platform. On the other hand, we charge the banks for the customer acquisition, we charge the banks for the loans that are given, a percentage of that, and so on. So for us, our revenue model is from banks, and we did not want to charge the already marginal farmers that we deal with. The marginal farmers are taking loans of sometimes of 10,000, 15,000 rupees. So it ranges. We have given loans as low as 6, 7,000 on some deposit of maybe 15,000 rupee deposits, and we have also given loans approximately at 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 10 lakhs, right? 9, 10 lakhs. And to FPOs, we have given at 50, 60 lakhs as well. So there's a huge range there. But yeah, we did not want to exploit the farmer more. That first of all, you are already paying high to your intermediaries, and now you start paying us. So for farmers, this is a completely free system to use. Again, why I'm sharing this with you is that this is a model you can also explore. That if there is an offering that you do it with some businesses or governments, whether you fit in a model where where your entire product can be free for the customer, the end user, the farmer, right? The farming segment. Then we come at what kind of a startup you are. Are you an agri-fintech startup? Are you an agri-tech startup? Are you a simple fintech startup? Most of you here may not be a only fintech startup because this is the beach accelerator. But other than that, agri-tech, agri-fintech, to clear hona hi chahiye. I think I've gone a lot in English in the last few minutes. So, I'll try to again switch between English and Hindi now. So, sorry for that. So yeah, so agri-tech, agri-fintech, देखते हैं क्या है, right? Critical difference. Many people don't understand. पहले ये लगा था मुझे भी कि ठीक है, सबको आता होगा, right? In many of my classes, in many of these sessions that I have taken in the past, I have seen that the core difference between agri-tech and agri-fintech बहुत लोगों को नहीं पता, right? जो agri-fintech कर रहे हैं या agri-tech कर रहे हैं और उनको मतलब specifically पता है कि दूसरा part हमें नहीं करना या नहीं करते हैं, that's a different story. So let us try to understand what is agtech, bird's eye view. First of all, in case of an agtech, an agricultural and technology company, you are building products that help with farming practices, that help with sourcing, that help with transportation, that help with supply chain of your produces, either before manufacturing, after manufacturing, either way. That's what you do. So use of technology, this is your keyword, use of technology to assist a farmer in producing better harvests, right? Mostly these technologies are pre-harvest, but also not only this, but also I should have written that here, that either in producing better harvests or reaching your produce to the customer in a better fashion. All of this is again agtech, right? Agri-tech also. Mostly it would become agri supply chain tech and all of that. You can do these combinations. But yeah, primarily you're helping farmers in pre-harvest scenarios, creating better harvest, giving them better technology, or machinery and equipment which are running on better technology, or you're giving them receivables finance, right? Receivables finance. Or so Mr. Anil has said value addition post harvest. I don't know if you're telling it for fintech or agtech, but yeah. So yeah, you're creating more value for the customer at the end. Any kind of customer, you might be directly dealing. Your farmers might be directly dealing with banks. Sorry, not banks, but businesses, enterprises, whatever it is. You're giving them better produce, and you're getting more value out of that entire relationship that you have, entire business that you're doing. On the other hand, again, that's why I said earlier that when you're doing agri-tech, you are furthering agriculture in the country, right? Specifically, entire agricultural domain in the country produced, right? And then, if let's discuss about agri-fintech, and then let me come to Mr. Damodar's comment. So, completing this, what is agri-fintech? Agri-fintech is when you are building products. Why am I going slow here? Because this is, I have seen that, I was not expecting this, but I have seen that ये clarity बहुत लोगों में. So let us go through this, right? Maybe out of 180 people, no, but 20 people ऐसे होंगे जिनको शायद से clarity नहीं है. So you are building products that support a farmer financially, bringing together multiple stakeholders, which is what we do. Banks, warehouses, government, this, that, we bring together on the single platform. So bringing together multiple stakeholders at times to make acquiring funds easier and very, very seamless. So use of technology for loans, payments, receivables finance, supply chain finance, trade finance, this, that, all of these things which help a farmer, right? Which further a farmer's, experience, which further a farmer's welfare, right? And especially financially, which is actually an agri-fintech startup, you can give them receivables finance, like we give them post-harvest finance. Many companies give receivables finance, supply chain finance. ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स। इससे फार्मर को सुविधा होती है अपने प्रोडक्ट को कस्टमर को पहुंचाने में। फार्मिंग उन्होंने भले जैसे भी किया हो, यू डोंट हैव एनीथिंग टू डू विद द फार्मिंग प्रैक्टिसेस दैट वर देयर, एनी फिजिकल इक्विपमेंट, ये मशीन वो मशीन, usually you don't do, but yeah, you might be giving out physical cards, you might be giving out physical machines कि इससे करेंगे तो आपको फार्मर को हर महीने 200 रुपए डिस्काउंट रिबेट मिलेगा, कुछ भी, you know, randomly brainstorming with you, all of you. That is what agri-fintech means. So this clarity should be there. If you are currently in somewhere in between, so you know, for some time, even me and my co-founder, for some time, we used to call us tech fin, right? Agri-tech fin, right? Why not fintech? Because we believe that पहले हमारे पे tech आता है, फिर finance पे हम बात करते हैं, राइट? तो या these are many combinations that you can get for yourself. Ultimately आपको clarity होनी चाहिए कि आप कर क्या रहे हैं, right? So Mr. Damodar has written that we are working towards farmers' second income agnostic of climate from waste of energy. So you know, even I don't know about your solution in detail, but with this comment, it looks like you're trying to increase the income, right? Same thing what we are doing. You are doing it in a different fashion, in a different ecosystem where we are doing it in a different manner, like giving them loan against their harvest. You are doing it somewhere from waste to energy, whatever waste they produce, I guess, right? So great. So yeah, so again, I believe one key takeaway ho sakta hai Mr. Damodar yahan se is that see what grants you can get, right? आप भी तो वही कर रहे हैं जो गवर्नमेंट चाहती है. You are saying you are working towards farmer's second income. अगर मैं मानता हूँ वो second income जो है वो farmer के primary income का 50% भी है, right? तो आप you're increasing the income, right, by 50%. Government wants to increase the farmer's income by twice, right? Doubling the farmer's income by 2023 or 4, I think government's agenda is, right? So आप देखिए ना आपको क्या grant मिल सकता है, आपको क्या support मिल सकता है, जो कि आप शायद already बीज है आपको सब कृषि से लेना start कर दिया होगा. ऐसे देखिए कि आप और क्या opportunities कर सकते हैं. This will go a long way in your journey as a startup, personally speaking, because this is what we have seen happen. All right, thanks Mr. Damodar. Going ahead, so yeah, that is the difference. Now coming to, as I said, that in between I'll explain that, I'll share that what we were able to do, so that now you understand from a case study. We wanted to do a case study when I was in discussion with the Pusa Krishi team as well. We wanted to do a case study here while sharing the topic of customers and segmentation and competition. What did Whirl as an agri-fintech startup do? Did earlier on. So we are Whirl is a B2B2C blockchain agri-fintech startup. We came out with this product which became globally the first blockchain platform for any kind of agri-financing. And in entirety of Asia, we became the first and the only platform for any kind of asset-backed lending. Asia में और भी agri-financing के लिए blockchain platform use हुए हैं. But asset-backed lending we became the first and the only platform. We created a platform with a blockchain backend where we connected banks and warehouses, and also we connected any other stakeholders who are interested in becoming a part of this ecosystem. For example, collateral management agencies. Banks appoint CMS, collateral managers, to go and check in the warehouses. Their report is also very important in this entire loan process. So we onboarded them also on the blockchain. अभी blockchain में ज़्यादा deep नहीं जाएंगे क्योंकि काफी technical concept है. But yeah, और ultimately blockchain जैसा आपने काफी सुना होगा अभी तक कि बिटकॉइन वगैरह के चलते, ब्लॉकचेन एक ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी है जो फ्रॉड से बचाती है. जो जिसपे आप कुछ डाल देते हो एक बार तो आप उसको मिटा नहीं सकते, ना आप उसको एडिट कर सकते, कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते. इम्यूटेबल बोलते हैं इस चीज को. इम्यूटेबल पीस ऑफ स्टोरेज है ये, इम्यूटेबल पीस ऑफ लेजर है आप कह सकते हैं. तो जैसे बैंक आपका ट्रांजैक्शन लिखती है कि सो आई गिव मिस्टर दामोदर 100 रुपीज, एक्सिस बैंक ने लिख लिया 100 रुपीज दिया गया है. कल वो चाहे तो इसको एडिट भी कर सकती है, रिमूव, डिलीट, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, राइट? 1000 को 1000 बना दे, नो वन इज गोइंग टू स्टॉप. On the other hand, if you use blockchain technology to write the same transaction that Abhishek gave 100 rupees to Mr. Damodar, there I can do that. How the technology works is that I can do nothing. मैं उस 100 रुपीज को 101 भी नहीं कर सकता हूँ, डिलीट भी नहीं कर सकता हूँ, 200 भी नहीं बना सकता, एक जीरो ऐड नहीं कर सकता, कुछ नहीं कर सकता. The way this blockchain technology works, it is that एक बार जो चला गया वो चला गया, वो हमेशा रह जाएगा. जब तक ब्लॉकचेन है ये चीज रह जाएगी उस ब्लॉकचेन पे कि अभिषेक गिव 100 रुपीज टू मिस्टर दामोदर. So that's how blockchain works. इसीलिए फ्रॉड प्रिवेंशन हो जाता है, क्योंकि कोई भी कल्यूजन वगैरह बाद में अगर आप कर रहे हैं, बैंक के पास वो इन्फॉर्मेशन जो ओरिजिनल गई है वही रहेगी कि इसमें यही हुआ था, फार्मर्स सो को इतना लोन दिया गया था, डन एंड डस्टेड, इस पे कोई चेंजेस नहीं, राइट? यहीं पे काफी फ्रॉड्स फेस करते थे बैंक्स, हम लोग जस्ट देखेंगे इसके बाद. So that is where our solution is very very useful. And why I just 2 minutes back said No bank in India currently, even a few banks outside, and also every other bank we've touched in India, has said that this is a solution that they don't need, because everyone who has been in this asset-backed lending domain, especially agri-financing, WHF financing domain, knows that the kind of frauds that they face. क्योंकि मैं अभी आपसे शेयर भी करूंगा कि किस लेवल के frauds है. All right, so yeah, first time it's a real-time agri loans in India for the first time. This is very, very crucial. Yeah. Another statistics here, that why did we do this, right? Why did we do this and what kind of support? So the agricultural services and agricultural machinery sectors, according to DIPP, they have attracted, an equity inflow of $2261 million, right? 2.2 billion you can see from April 2000 to December 2015, right? Why am I sharing this stat in between of what we are doing? Okay, again, after this I continue with what innovation we did, but why this in between? Two things. First of all, this DIPP, what kind of FDI DIPP has been able to attract, and what India's government in itself internally has planned, has targeted, right? So to double farmers' income by 2022. So I'm yet to check how that is going. So yeah, but their target is by 2022 to double the farmers' income. All of this together is what enabled us, right? These are few of the important statistics which enabled also us to decide and understand, to decide this decision, to take this decision, that what to do, right? What to choose, what domain to go to, what kind of a product to launch, what kind of initiatives to do with banks and governments to enable this from happening, to enable this in happening. And that again has rewarded us as well. As I told you, 2.5 साल से हमने कोई फंडिंग रेज नहीं करी है, फिर भी बढ़िया चल रहे हैं. टीम को भी कहीं किसी टीम को ले ऑफ नहीं करना पड़ता है, कुछ नहीं करना पड़ता है. Everything is going very well because of this alignment of our motivations with what the DIPP, government, Indian government in general, other organizations need. Right? I hope I'm not going very fast. Okay, I'll just quickly cross over, but let me know if I am. So then that is when we chose there are certain innovations in agri finance going on since quite some years. Warehouse receipt finance, personal loans for farm mechanization, beautiful loan products created where you can take tractor loans and so on, and easily repay them over a particular period of time. Very, very easy loans that they have given. And then Kisan credit card scheme, which have got very, very famous, and for farmers where they can use it for produce buying and all. These three innovations, we believe that were going very hot, and we chose this warehouse receipt finance as a final go-to model, that we will be working in warehouse receipt finance based on all the numbers and everything that I've discussed with you before, and based on what our product can do. यहाँ पे frauds नहीं है उतने, यहाँ frauds नहीं है उतने. So that is why with the blockchain solution, this became one of the critical areas where we could implement a blockchain solution and benefit the farmer, right? So that's what we did here. We went ahead with WHR financing model. What is WHR financing? This is where I said that I'll come later to in detail what WHR financing model is, so that this case study that I'm sharing with you makes more sense, starts making more sense, that ki kar kya rahe hum log. Very simple. You can even read the text in the circle. It's a very simple product. We start from here. Traders or farmers deposit commodity in the bank approved warehouse. Just like in our case, all of these 1400 MSWC warehouses are bank approved by the banks. So now what we can enable the farmers to do is deposit their harvest. For example, a farmer comes up with 1,000 quintals of rice and deposits in a washing warehouse in Maharashtra. It's a bank approved warehouse. And the moment it does so, right, they can raise a application with the bank that I want loan against this particular 1,000 quintals of rice. Okay, I'll just admit one person quickly. Yeah, I'll admit others quickly as well. Okay, cool. So now what the bank does is, the bank has received the application. The bank will send someone called a CMA, which I just discussed some time back. The CMA you can see here in the second stage. CMA checks quality and quantity of stock, whether it is the same as was advised in the original WHR, warehouse receipt that was created. If everything checks out, right, it is scrutinized by the bank. If everything checks out, the bank on receipt of the same transfers the fund to the borrower's account. As you can see, simple, procedure. Farmer आया, deposit किया अपना warehouse में अपना produce harvest. उस harvest के against bank को request किया कि I want a loan against this, say rice की 1000 क्विंटल rice है, उसके against मुझे loan लेना है. Bank अपना बंदा भेजती है या कोई third party CMA भेजती है जो कि वेयर हाउस जाके चेक करके आते हैं फिजिकली कि सब सही है या नहीं है जैसा एक्सपेक्टेड है, अपना रिपोर्ट बैंक को देते हैं, ये रिपोर्ट अगर सेटिस्फैक्ट्री है उस रिपोर्ट के बेसिस पे बैंक फार्मर को क्रेडिट कर देती है अमाउंट, द लोन अमाउंट. दिस इज हाउ द एंटायर सिस्टम वर्क्स. This forms as a secured working capital finance to farmers, commodity traders, millers, everyone against the commodity stored by them in the warehouses, government warehouses or private warehouses, but bank approved warehouses. And this enables farmers in avoiding what we call distress sale. ये हमारा core agenda है, to help farmers avoid distress sale during the harvesting season. क्योंकि आप लोग तो सारे आप सभी आप इस डोमेन में है, एग्रीकल्चर डोमेन में है, आपको आइडिया होगा कि राइट आफ्टर हार्वेस्टिंग द क्रॉप्स, द प्राइसेस ऑफ दिस क्रॉप्स आर एट द बॉटम लिस्ट, पेनीज, राइट, पैसे हर किलो के लिए आपको कुछ पैसे मिलते हैं, राइट, आलू के लिए, टमाटर के लिए. So the prices are at the bottom list, right? So this is where we encourage them to not sell at this point in time जब prices इतने कम हैं, क्योंकि hard grown harvest है ये उनका, farmers का. So we ask them to delay this sale to 2.5-3 months when the prices of these crops are better in the market. So and that is why it is not called distress sale anymore. And this we have seen that has increased their income by up to 25 to 40% in India. In places like Africa, which is also where we have researched a bit, it is up to 300%, right? So 3 times increase in their income. But then just imagine that why would a farmer want to do this, right, in the first place? Let me see the chat once. Yeah, so WHR finance applicable to all states or specific states? Do you accept all crop harvesting at the warehouse? Very good question, Mr. Shishananda. An answer to your question is that first of all, it is applicable to all states and all farmers. In our and काफी banks देती भी, already banks देती है. हाँ, fraud face करते हैं तो काफी banks क्या होता है? What they do is they usually stop giving these loans to farmers. हमारा अभी करंट प्रेजेंट जो है वो महाराष्ट्र में है प्राइमरीली, और भी स्टेट्स में है बट महाराष्ट्र में सबसे ज्यादा है. बाकी हम लोग तमिलनाडु में भी है, हम लोग गुजरात में भी है, हम लोग यूपी में भी है, बट वहां पे प्राइवेट वेयरहाउसेस के साथ कम रीच है, बट है. महाराष्ट्र में 1400 वेयरहाउस है, वहां पे पूरे महाराष्ट्र में हम लोग ओपन है, अवेलेबल है. तो महाराष्ट्र में तो बिल्कुल दिस वर्क्स इन महाराष्ट्र. In other states also, wherever we are there, you can do it via us. Otherwise, farmers still can go to the bank directly. But काफी बैंक्स ने ये देना कम कर दिया है क्योंकि फ्रॉड्स हो रहे हैं, एंड वहां हम अभी तक पहुंचे नहीं. एंड कोई और कॉम्पिटिटर है नहीं कि जो हमारी जगह जाके वहां पे पहुंच जाएंगे तो वो स्टार्ट कर देंगे. अभी फिलहाल इंडिया में वैसे कॉम्पिटिटर्स कोई नहीं. So yeah. And do you accept all crop harvesting at the warehouse? So we are usually, now what happens is, this is a very good question here. Banks usually give loans against dry warehouses, right? So हम कोई भी cold storage based crop के against में लोन नहीं देते हैं. Rice, wheat, maize, soybean, cotton bales, then barley, all these crops, right? All these crops that you can store in dry warehouses, we give loan against them because that's what the banks do. Banks don't give loans. The warehouse receive finance post harvest loans against. Usually they don't give against. Against any crop that needs cold storage, right? So that's not there. So we accept all crop which can be stored in dry warehouses, because all our warehouses in the network, none of them are cold storages. All are dry warehouses. Valuation, who does that, and is it based on MSP? So valuation is done by the valuation is done by the market as well as the MSP. The warehouse in charge, when a farmer visits with their storage, a farmer visits to the warehouse, at that point in time the assessment is done by the warehouse in charge that कितना crop है, कौन सा crop है, कौन सा grade है, क्या quality है, and then they know the market rates at that point in time. We also do that. We also take the market rates for valuation from different sources, like ENAM is there, then MSAMB is there, which is the Maharashtra State Agricultural Index Board. Then we have NCDX is there, right? So we use these sources and we do run some algorithms there, and then we also show to the bank at any point in time किस crop का value क्या है. And warehouse in charge in the first time are also doing the same. They are assessing, and then based on the quality and the grade, quality, and everything of the particular crop, they know that what prices are there in the market right now, and they note the same. They put the same valuation, and they note the same on the warehouse receipt. And this entire information goes to the blockchain, right? एक बार चला गया उसके बाद नहीं आता. So that is also available to the bank, and then later bank can see the real time prices as well, rates as well. Mr. Anil has said, are there warehouses in North India? At this point in time in UP, we have some private warehouses, but not a lot of reach in North India as we have in towards this Maharashtra and other areas. Okay, and are you able to provide consultancy for establishment of warehouse project? Yes, Mr. Bharat, we do that. We do that. Yes. So maybe you can reach out to me later and can help you out if it works out. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know because I don't know your entire requirement right now. But please, Mr. Mehta, feel free to reach out later. Right? I have given my credentials at the starting of this, at the beginning of this lecture. Also, I'll give it again in the end, and also you can take it from Kusa Krishi, and feel free to get in touch. Okay. I am consumer, I am farmer only, but understanding new idea about agri sector for startups. I will try to understand. Okay. Yeah. So, Malak ji, बहुत ही apologies for that. हिंदी में मैं बोलने की कोशिश करूंगा. वैसे आपने जैसे लिखा है कि आपकी हिंदी अच्छी है, तो आई एम अ बंगाली बाय द वे, सो दिस इज नॉट समथिंग जो कि मुझे फ्रीक्वेंटली सुनने में मिलता है, क्योंकि बंगालीज की हिंदी आपको पता ही कैसे होती है. सो जेंडर वाला प्रॉब्लम आ जाता है हमारा थोड़ा. बट या मैं ट्राई करता हूँ कि थोड़ा इंग्लिश हिंदी को और थोड़ा सा मिक्स कर पाऊँ. एक्चुअली यहाँ पे काफी ऑडियंस ऐसे भी है जो हिंदी भी नहीं जानते, इंग्लिश जानते हैं, right? So that's why. Mr. Shishananda has again asked that do you finance cold storage? No. As I said earlier, cold storage हमारे लिए possible नहीं होता है, क्योंकि banks नहीं देते. Banks don't give these post office. See, हम तो platform है बस, right? तो farmer के लिए ये platform available है अपना. So मालक जी, आपके लिए भी ये जैसा आपने पूछा कि as an agri startup, as a farmer, आपके लिए बेनिफिशियल है अगर आप मान लीजिए कि आप कोई भी ऐसा क्रॉप कर रहे हैं, नॉन पेरिशेबल क्रॉप कर रहे हैं आप, एंड उसके अगेंस्ट बैंक लोन देती है. सिंपली आप यू कैन फाइंड अ नियर बाय वेयर हाउस. अगर आप महाराष्ट्र में हैं तो इजीली आपको मिल जाएगा. अदरवाइज हमसे आप कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं, हम देख सकते हैं कि देयर आर सर्टेन पार्टनर्स हु कैन डू दैट और नॉट. सो आइदर वे हम पूरी कोशिश कर सकते हैं. फिर आप वहां जाके अपना डिपॉजिट करें और बैंक आपको वो इमीडिएटली लोन दे देती है. जो पहले आपको यही लोन काफी फार्मर्स को, शायद इनफैक्ट काफी हमारे यंग फार्मर्स हैं जिनके फादर्स एंड ग्रैंडफादर्स भी ये वेयर हाउस रिसीट फाइनेंस लेते आए हैं पास्ट से, राइट? उनको पता है कि कैसे काम करता है. वो हमें खुद कहते हैं कि पहले पापा लेते थे, उनको तो 10-11 दिन लगता था, इतना इंटरेस्ट रेट पे करते थे, 17%, 19%, 15%, राइट? आपका 9% पे हो रहा है. एंड वो भी मतलब अभी मैं अप्लाई करता हूँ, कभी कभी तो घर से ही अप्लाई कर देता हूँ, और कभी कभी मैं वेयर हाउस में हूँ, वहां पे मैंने मान लीजिए कि जमा किया, वहीं खड़े खड़े मैंने अप्लाई किया, और जब तक मैं घर भी नहीं पहुंचा, सुन के वी गेट सो हैप्पी कि कभी कभी हम घर पहुंचते नहीं है कि अकाउंट में मैसेज आ जाता है कि आपका 2.5 लाख का जो लोन था, या 2.25 लाख या 2.25 या 1.25 लाख का लोन था, कुछ भी अमाउंट क्रेडिट हो गया, राइट? तो हम तब तक घर भी नहीं पहुंचे होते थे. पहले हमें क्या करना होता था, हमें छोड़िए, हम पहले तो आ ही जाते थे, उसके बाद बैंक जाएंगे, अप्लाई करेंगे, फिर बैंक जाएंगे, फिर पूछेंगे क्या हुआ, ऐसे करके 10-12 दिन में मिलते थे, और बहुत ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट रेट पे. These are real testimonials. You can find them online as well for us. So ये चीज, this is what the platform does, and this is a very beneficial product for the farmers. इतना हमें पता तो चल ही रहा है. And that is where we understood that some kind of product market fit we have achieved. And so that is one thing. So Mr. Sheshananda, we do not finance cold storage because banks don't do that. We are just a platform, right? Ultimate पैसा तो बैंक से आता है, so the banks don't finance cold storage much. Okay, so please provide me for establishing warehouse. So I'll just give you I'll just do it right now. Okay, I've given you my number as well as my email. Please feel free to reach out, and ये मैं लास्ट में भी डिस्प्ले करूंगा. अगर आपको इसका स्क्रीनशॉट लेना है तो आप व्हाट्सएप प्रेफर कर सकते हैं. अगर कॉल पे बात ना हो पाए तो व्हाट्सएप प्रेफर कर सकते हैं, एंड आई विल गेट यू कनेक्टेड. इनफैक्ट मेरे जो को-फाउंडर है, he has been more in agriculture, so I'm pretty sure that he would be able to help you better than even I would be able to. So you can just reach out, and I'll get you in touch with my co-founder, and we can all discuss internally, and we can see what help we can do. You can even reach out to Megha and Ankur here, and they can reach out to us, and either way it can work. So आप directly पूसा कृषि से भी बोल सकते हैं. पहले भी ऐसा हुआ है कि they usually get you all the help that they can, right, from anyone that they know. कुछ और भी है जो हमें नहीं आता है, हम सजेस्ट कर देंगे, and पूसा कृषि will get you in touch with them, right? Okay, contact number for establishing warehouse I've given. Okay, for Rajasthan में अभी हमारे warehouses नहीं है right now. So मालक जी अभी राजस्थान में नहीं है, but हम लोग बातें चल रही है. So please get in touch. Please follow us, follow World. Get in touch with us. I'll keep you posted. And जैसे महाराष्ट्र में कुछ भी warehouses start होते हैं, we'll get you on the we get you the information. All right, thanks, Mr. Damodar, for your comment. What are your struggles to build your startup? What's your USP and product portfolio? Okay, Mr. Akhilesh, let me just answer your question. 1 second. Let me see others as well. Okay, काफी messages आ गए. All right. One by one, let me take. What's your struggles to build your startup? And what's the USP and the product portfolio? The product portfolio, basically, first I'll answer that question. The product portfolio primarily is this. Primarily, it is the core product is that, see, we have multiple products as such, but the core model that we follow is this integrated blockchain platform, just say farmers can take loans, right, against their warehouse deposits, their commodity deposits. To make this happen, to make this product happen, to make this entire ecosystem happen, we have built multiple endpoints or products as such and panels as such. जहाँ पे you get an access to an Android app, then a web-based panel for the bank, a web-based panel for the warehouse, a panel for the collateral manager, a trading platform, all of these things, then a blockchain platform, then a blockchain explorer. So कुल मिला के 7-8 panels है and all. But core product is this one only which you're seeing on the screen, which helps with WHR financing. That's all, right? And the USP is real-time, low-cost, low-TAT loans for farmers. So it's a low-cost lending for the banks as well as a low-cost borrowing for the farmers. It is a very low-TAT loans for them. 15 days before and now 5 minutes, real-time. And so that is a USP, And yeah, for banks, the USP is that they can prevent frauds from happening. Billions of dollars in frauds. I'll just share in the next slide itself that how much frauds happen in this segment. So that's so yeah, building the struggles to build a startup, plenty struggles, because first of all, we have been working with banks and governments. These are the two types of customers who are have a huge sales cycle. Sometimes 12 months, 15 months. 15 months में आदमी थक जाता है थोड़ा सा, to be very honest, कि होगा कि नहीं होगा, so you have to plan a lot. So that is our huge struggle right now, that the sales cycles are very, very long. So if you have a similar kind of a customer base, enterprise customer base, ऐसे भी enterprise में sales cycle थोड़ा लंबा ही होता है, but banks के case में काफी लंबा होता है, right? See, for example, give you an example. We started discussions with India's largest private bank, quite some time back, and वो अभी भी चल रहा है, but yeah, good thing is that we have almost onboarded them. So that is a good thing that we have almost onboarded India's largest private bank. They have started testing on our platform. They have started security audits. All of these things have started. So they'll come on the platform very soon. They'll be operational on the platform very soon, and once they do, it is going to help us because जैसे अभी सारे जितने भी questions मुझे भी मिले कि बाकी states में है या नहीं है. The moment a bank like this, I'm not taking the name because they are not on the platform yet, but everyone knows which is India's largest private bank. So once they come on the platform, they will have entire access across India, right, across the nation. Then we can also onboard warehouses from anywhere in the country and easily give loans to farmers like Maharashtra, like Rajasthan, north side के states सब हो गया. ये हम कर सकते हैं, जो हम अभी उतना नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि we have Maharashtra State Cooperative Bank जो सिर्फ महाराष्ट्र में लोन देते हैं, and similar banks, right? But this kind of a bank will give us access to entire India. But yeah, struggles have been that only. Long sales cycles, other than nothing, other than not a lot, struggles to होते ही हैं. But yeah, this is one of the critical ones, which I think out of 100 people here, I think many of you would be in this domain where you're working with, the government segments or banks or such enterprises, जहाँ पे आपका sales cycle शायद काफी लंबा हो. तो आपको कुछ और plan करना पड़ेगा कि मतलब कैसे revenue stream लाए या कैसे what else you can do, right? Mr. Amitabh has asked that. I hope I answered your question, Mr. Akhilesh. Mr. Amitabh has asked that, do you have blockchain tech for interstate transport of grains, food items, example UP to Punjab? So we do not have the blockchain tech, but we do blockchain consultancy. So we can build. We are all quite career blockchain operators because my co-founder has also been there in blockchain since the last quite a few years, 4-5 years. मैंने और मेरे co-founder ने इससे पहले एक pure blockchain company में भी काम किया है साथ में. Then we are now doing this, which is like such a large platform of blockchain in India. I myself have been in blockchain since 5 years. I'm an author in blockchain. So blockchain का idea हमें काफी है. तो आपको कोई ऐसा specific help चाहिए, Mr. Amitabh, so please reach out. Feel free to reach out, and we'll see what help we can give. If we are not able to help, we'll connect you with someone we may know who are good and who can help you. Either way, we can try that. I am technologist. I would like to know on which protocol you have developed. So we have developed, Mr. Kumari, we have developed on Quorum blockchain. The blockchain is Quorum. I won't explain that much because the audience might not be relevant here a lot. But please feel free to reach out if there's a discussion to happen. So we have developed on Quorum blockchain, which is a fork of Ethereum blockchain, which everyone knows. So Quorum blockchain was built by JP Morgan, which is like one of the largest banks. So उन्हीं का बनाया हुआ था, and we have used the same Quorum blockchain for our use case as well, and it is working pretty successfully. Okay. Okay, let me see if there are any questions. Otherwise, I'll. Okay, thanks, Mr. Akhilesh, for your comment. Thank you. And 10% to 18%, that is a big barrier. Okay, there are certain questions which may need longer answers. What I'll do is I'll just park these questions for a bit, and I'll just go through these, and maybe later on pick the questions, and I'll take Megha's help to go through the questions as well. So just coming back to the slides, pausing, parking few of the questions, few of the brilliant questions that are there. So now I know that I should cover the presentation soon so that we can spend more time on the question and answer. See, what I'll do is I'll anyways give this presentation to Kusakrishi, right? To the organizers. Later on, they can share the presentation on email or WhatsApp group and everywhere. So presentation ke through to aap log chali jayenge, right? So let us put most focus on questions and let me complete the presentation quickly, right? Very soon. All right. Okay, yeah. Quickly, just going through this. 3:30 ho gaya already. So quickly, just in the next 10 minutes, I'm planning to close most of the presentation. And then, we'll keep last 15-20 minutes for question and answer. 4 p.m. I have a hard stop. Otherwise, to I continue बढ़ जाता, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. Most of the lectures stretch from for more than half an hour sometimes, but today it is a bit difficult. Try करते हैं 4 p.m. तक जितना cover हो पाए. Otherwise, please feel free to reach out. What I'll do is I'll again give you the credentials in a bit. Please feel free to reach out. All right. So these are the kinds of issues that why in the WHF finance market, and I don't know if any of you are already in this market, then this would be very useful. और अभी मैं शायद से थोड़ा स्पीड से बोलूं तो प्लीज apologize for that. Presentation आपको बिल्कुल मिल जाएगा, आज ही अभी मिल जाएगा. Just इस लेक्चर के बाद I'll give it to Megha and others, and please feel free to take it from there. So yeah, $1 billion frauds. This is what I was talking about. $1 billion. NSCL scam, $1 billion, right? AP fraud, 400 crores. ICICI Bank fraud, very recently, 150 crores, right? Qingdao scandal, $650 million, 2013. Citibank, Standard Chartered, both the banks faced this fraud, $650 million. Axis World frauds because of fake nickel metal receipts, fake receipts. Another issue that our blockchain platform completely eradicates, जिसके वजह से Axis World fraud हुआ था, fake receipts, forged receipts, right? So these are the frauds that you can see, and this becomes the USP for the bank to buy us, right? To pay us. High intermediary cost. Manual process में intermediaries बहुत है. So turnaround time जो TAT है, turnaround time है वो बहुत high हो जाता है, जो कि 13 to 15 days था. Cost बहुत high हो जाता है क्योंकि intermediary सभी costly है. Blockchain आती है, ये platform आती है सीधे bank, blockchain and then farmer. That's all. It is a manual system, so repayment of loan and all becomes a hectic process, and 3x transportation cost. These are the few issues, and low grassroots impact. This is very important. Currently, the number is not written here, but in India, the post-harvest finance, 95% of it goes to traders and not farmers. In our case, currently, I think we have given, as of yesterday or last Saturday, I think, we have given, I think, 21 crore worth of loans, right? 21 crore loan हमने अभी तक शायद से दिया है. Last number यही था जितना मुझे याद है, Saturday तक का. उसमें से 95% उल्टा है हमारा. 95% in India post-harvest finance goes to traders. हमारे केस में ये जो 21 करोड़ लोन गए हैं, इसमें से 95-96% वो है जो purely farmers को गए हैं. So grassroots impact is low in general, but with our product, everyone, starting from someone with 6,000 rupee loan request to 20 lakh, 30 lakh, 40 lakh loan request. और कल हम traders का शुरू करेंगे banks के साथ, जैसे private banks हो गया नॉन, तो ये करोड़ों में होंगे, like because traders का average ticket size is 1.5 to 2 crores. ये सारा लोन इस पे possible होगा. So grassroots impact is not a problem with our solution. This is how it works. So yeah, someone who was interested in the protocol and how it works, this is how it works. Let me see the chat once. Okay, I'll just come to chat altogether at the end. Megha, I hope that is fine, and later on you can help me in picking up the questions. I'll quickly close this.
Yes, Abhishek, I'll be there definitely.
Sure.
So we can ask them to raise their hand also if they feel like. We can unmute them.
ठीक है. Whatever time बचता है last में ऐसे कर लेंगे, right? Let me
sure.
close the presentation. All right. Okay. So how it works, right? There's a clear demarcation of the platform. Few stakeholders are on chain, few stakeholders are off chain. On chain means blockchain में ये right भी करते हैं, they write to the blockchain, right? So warehouses receipt बनाते हैं, वहां से blockchain story start होती है, तो blockchain में वो receipt write होता है, वो जाता है. Farmers जो है, traders जो है, they are only accessing this mobile lending platform where they do not write anything to the blockchain, but they do access the blockchain क्योंकि पूरा receipt real time में fetch होके आता है. This is how the entire infrastructure works. I could have explained this for the next 10 minutes, but I'm skipping that in the interest of time. But this is how the platform works, and this is an entire cycle. Warehouse में deposit किया, loan का request bank के लिए डाला, फिर वो बैंक को loan का request दिखने लग गया, तो farmer के पास वो चला गया कि हाँ, I'm approving your request, and then repayment के time पे again farmer आके बैंक को repayment कर दिया. All of this. In between, if CMA report needs to be generated, that is also happening on the blockchain. The entire cycle gets covered right then and there. Right? What are the tech solutions that we could provide? First of all, digital WHR. Right? Problem क्या था? Problem था forged या fake receipt. So digital WHR completely eradicates fake receipts. It reduces the underwriting cost. It reduces the TAT as well as the customer acquisition cost. Turnaround time be low, customer acquisition cost be काफी low. Right? Gives out instant loan to the farmer, real-time loans, no distress sale. The farmers harvest right after sale cut. And higher income of the farmers, up to 40% in India, up to 3 times in areas like Africa. Again, here it is. So, fake or duplicate receipts from you because of the use of blockchain, no multiple lending. ये एक major problem इस domain में रहा है और आपके काफी domain में भी होगा. I think out of these 90-100 people, many of you who are in agri-fintechs would know that, multiple loans, multiple post-harvest loans can happen. That एक bank ने loan दे दिया 1,000 quintals of rice against, and then the same person, I think that's what Mr. Amitabh was also saying, that fraud farmers, right? They again take loans from again the same commodity from another bank. अब दोनों बैंक का loan वो same 1,000 quintal rice पे चल रहा है. Multiple lending does not happen with blockchain, right? Control on excessive borrowing. Warehouse capacity के beyond borrowing हो जाती है. 2 million metric ton का warehouse है, पता चलता है कि total 2.5-3 million metric ton के against का तो loan चल रहा है warehouse पे. All because of warehouse collusions. नहीं होता इससे. Alright, and then automated collections, instant loans, online market access, wild trading, and all. So these are the things that come with it, right? So ये मैं जल्दी क्रॉस कर पाऊंगा क्योंकि स्टार्टिंग में काफी चीजें मैंने प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट के ऊपर एक्सपीरियंस से बताई दिया आपको. सो अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑलरेडी बिल्ड हो गई होगी, राइट? 3 legs of a stool. First of all, accepted by the people, good people, right? Have the tendency to build great products. Your team is good. Your customer segment is good. Your team is good. You're building good products for those same people, and your current team has an understanding. They step in the shoe of the particular customer to understand that what kind of product they need to make. Even if that vision entirely has not been given by you as a founder, but आपके इंजीनियर को पता है कि करना क्या अल्टीमेटली, ताकि फार्मर जो इजीली हो सके वो यूज कर पाए. ये प्रॉब्लम हम भी काफी बार फेस करते हैं हमारे एम्प्लॉयज के साथ, बट ग्रेजुअली समय के साथ वो आ जाती है. मार्केट and accepting market is imperative to have a future for the product you're building. यहीं पे product market fit जो है वो entry लेता है, right? यहीं पे वो प्रवेश करता है कि कहाँ आप, there has to be an accepting market. कुछ बना रहे हैं, उसकी market में need है या नहीं है. नीड है तो किस सेगमेंट में है, फिर आप उसी के लिए टेलर कर लीजिए. काफी सॉल्यूशंस जो होते हैं वो सबके लिए नहीं होता है, राइट? सो यू टेलर इट एंड देन द प्रोडक्ट इज व्हाट फिट्स, राइट? Until the dimensional match, everything will be a failure. So what this means actually is that product has to fit. आपको 4 चीजें चाहिए एज अ कस्टमर. मैं आपको 5 चीजें दे रहा हूँ, बट उसको 4 चीजें कवर होनी चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए एक कवर हो रहा है, 4 में कुछ और ही चीजें दे रहा हूँ, देन मैं आपको टारगेट कर रहा हूँ एड से, यूट्यूब एड से, फेसबुक एड से, कि आपने रेलेवेंट कस्टमर ही दिया, राइट? एंड अगर आप आ भी गए, सो यू विल बी इन दैट बॉटम परसेंटेज ऑफ द पीपल हु आर गिविंग नेगेटिव रेटिंग ऑन प्ले स्टोर, बिकॉज प्रोडक्ट आपका अच्छा है, बट आप तो रीच आउट किए गलत कस्टमर को ना, सो दे आर गिविंग यू नेगेटिव रिव्यूज बिकॉज देयर रिक्वायरमेंट इज नॉट फुलफिल्ड. So what is a product market fit? A product that can satisfy a specific market. It can be a very small segment. अभी जैसे बहुत ईमेल क्लाइंट्स है, अभी जीमेल है, जीमेल फ्री है, हर कोई यूज करता है, हर एंड्रॉइड फोन में जीमेल है, हर आईफोन में भी आजकल जीमेल है ही है, लोग उसी से स्टार्ट करते हैं, राइट? सो अ प्रोडक्ट दैट कैन सैटिस्फाई स्पेसिफिक मार्केट. बट जब कोई स्पेसिफिक एक ईमेल क्लाइंट आता है, दे नो, दिस इज नॉट एन एग्रीकल्चर एग्जांपल, बट अभी जस्ट दिमाग में ये आ रहा है कि जब एक स्पेसिफिक ईमेल क्लाइंट आता है, वो अटेम्प्ट ही करते हैं कि मैं गिने चुने इस स्ट्रेटा के लोगों पे करूं, कि जिनको स्पैम से बचाना है अपने आप को, जिनको ईज ऑफ यूज चाहिए, स्नूज करना है, ये करना है, वो करना है। फिर उसके ऊपर एक कॉस्ट लगाते हैं कि महीने का मैं लूंगा, साल का मैं 3200 INR पर ईयर एज अ सब्सक्रिप्शन फी लूंगा। वेरी दिस ड्राइव्स डाउन योर मार्केट टू अ वेरी स्पेसिफिक सेगमेंट, जिनको फ्री में जीमेल मिल रहा है, गूगल जैसी कंपनी से जीमेल ऐप मिल रहा है, उसके बावजूद भी आप कुछ ऐसे चीजें फुलफिल उनके लिए कर रहे हैं जिसके लिए आप 3200 INR पर ईयर चार्ज करने के वो रखते हैं, ऑडेसिटी रखते हैं, राइट? देन एंड इफ पीपल आर बाइंग, देन यू नो दैट even if that's a very small market, but you have captured a specific market. And what is a great market? A giant market with an unmet need that you can satisfy. दो बहुत ही अलग कॉन्सेप्ट है। ये है जब आपका प्रोडक्ट बन रहा है, नहीं बना है, या प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट अचीव नहीं किया है, ये तब का स्टेटस। ये तब आप देखिए कि ग्रेट मार्केट क्या मेरे पास अवेलेबल है। ओला ने शुरू करने से पहले देखा होगा कि जब यूएस में एंड अदर एरियाज में उबर चल रही है, तो यू नो, एंड आई बिलीव दिस वुड हैव हैपेंड दिस वे ओनली, तब उसे लगा होगा कि मेरे पास एक बहुत बढ़िया मार्केट है इंडिया, जहां पे ये कैब की जरूरत है, सो लेट मी स्टार्ट। सो अ ग्रेट मार्केट वाज अवेलेबल, देन ही बिल्ट समथिंग कॉल्ड ओला, एंड he made it very specific to what kind of things India needs, and जो कि बाद में कॉपी उबर ने भी करी, राइट? कैश का ऑप्शन ही नहीं था पहले कहीं। इंडिया में कैश ऑन कैश बेस्ड स्टार्ट हुआ, बाकी जगह पे भी कैश बेस्ड स्टार्ट हो गया फिर उसके बाद, राइट? सो दीज आर द फ्यू थिंग्स दैट differs, you know, makes a huge difference between what is your target. Okay, how do you calculate PMF? Ask your users. यही मैंने कहा आपको स्टार्टिंग में कि आप इंटरव्यू कीजिए अपने यूजर्स को। मैं फार्मर्स में इंटरव्यू करता हूँ, वो उतनी नहीं समझते उतना कि प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट क्या है, वो बता दे भी नहीं, बट हम बहुत बेसिक टर्म्स में कोशिश करते हैं कि जो आपको हमने टेक्नोलॉजी दी है, इसका आप कैसा यूज कर रहे हैं, क्या यूज कर रहे हैं और क्या देखना चाहिए। 2-3 क्वेश्चंस मेनली। So yeah, ask your users how they'd feel if they could no longer use your product. अगर आप पूछते हैं फार्मर से, मैं अपने फार्मर से पूछ सकता हूँ कि अगर मान लीजिए कि अगले हार्वेस्ट साइकिल में, हमारा तो सीजनल बिजनेस है, काफी आप में से भी काफी हुआ होगा, अगर अगले हार्वेस्ट साइकिल में हम अवेलेबल नहीं होते हैं तो क्या होगा? तो क्या आपको सही रहेगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी? क्या होता है? जहां पे हमें आंसर मिलता है कि यू नो द ग्रुप दैट आंसर्स वेरी डिसअपॉइंटेड, जो फार्मर्स हमें खुद बोलते हैं कि नहीं, अभी तो हमने आपका इतना अच्छा सोल्यूशन लगाया, हमने तो अपने काफी किसान भाइयों को बोल दिया है कि आपके सोल्यूशन ने जो इस बार ले पाया उन्होंने ले लिया है, बाकी तो आपके बाकी जिन्होंने नहीं लिया था कहीं और से ले लिया था, वो अगले हार्वेस्ट में आप ही का यूज करने का वेट कर रहे हैं। तो यहीं पे हमें मिल गया ना, वेरी डिसअपॉइंटेड यूजर्स, पीपल हु हैव अ क्लियर डिफरेंस बिटवीन एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ द प्री वर्ल्ड era where you know they did not have this solution, and abhi jo unko kya fayda ho raha hai, right? That's where we know that whether we have unlocked product or market fit or not, right? Okay, I'm skipping this a bit. These are few benefits that my product provides to product is able to provide to customers. You know, this is an important slide, but I would request you go through it when I give the presentation to Ankur and Megha later on. But see that because we understood this part, how to calculate PMF, we understood, we put a lot of focus here, then we were able to map exactly कौन सा फीचर है वो किसको आएगा। That is why जब हम बैंक्स को पिच करते हैं हमारा प्रेजेंटेशन अलग होता है, हम वेयरहाउसेस को पिच करते हैं हमारा प्रेजेंटेशन प्योरली अलग होता है, और हम जब गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को करते हैं कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट प्रेजेंटेशन होते हैं, क्योंकि उनके नीड्स अलग है, मार्केट अवेलेबल है, हमने अपना पिच टेलर, प्रोडक्ट तो हमने टेलर मेड किया ही हुआ है, और उस प्रोडक्ट में 100 चीजें होती होंगी, बट उसमें से कौन सी 30 चीजें फार्मर के काम की है, कौन सी 30 बैंक के काम की है, और किस दूसरे ऐप में कौन सी 30 चीजें गवर्नमेंट के काम की है या वेयरहाउसेस के काम की है, वो हमें दर्शाना होता है। That is where not only we have achieved, we believe that we have achieved product market fit to some extent, but we also know that कि हमें ऑफर कैसे करना है इस चीज को, right? Okay, so this is something we do, and 2 case studies I'm leaving out here, which is एक तो हमारा खुद का ही case study था कि how we reached more than $2.5 million, 21 crore 20 crore in loans, 1400 warehouses, in all it took was 10 months. ये भी मैं skip कर रहा हूँ, मैं Agnex को भी skip कर रहा हूँ because the time is a bit less, right? But you can go through these steps क्योंकि काफी चीजें मैंने presentation में ही लिखा हुआ है, and you can easily go through these steps, and what we did, what a company like Agnex, काफी ने आपने सुना ही होगा Agnex के बारे में, so what they have done, how they have implemented. Yeah, good point here is how they have implemented different kinds of technologies. Analytics के लिए, quality के लिए अलग technology, traceability, supply chain traceability, procurement के लिए अलग technology, और ultimately understanding the customers, supply chain, distributors, everyone, उनके लिए अलग data science ML based technologies कैसे करके उन्होंने generate करी है 4.2 million in funding, and do read this what I've put on the presentation, what they said, right? How they were able to differentiate between India में क्या काम करेगा. So they knew India में एक बहुत बड़ा market है. You remember the great market 2-3 स्लाइड पहले. इंडिया में ग्रेट मार्केट है, बड़ा मार्केट है, पता है, पर किस टाइप का मार्केट है, क्या चलेगा वहां. अगर आप फार्मर को बोलेंगे कि अच्छा यू टेक अ टेक्नोलॉजी, यू बाय अ टेक्नोलॉजी जिससे आपको 8%, 9%, 10% का मुनाफा होगा अपने प्रोड्यूस में, यील्ड में, 90-80% फार्मर्स विल नॉट गो फॉर इट बिकॉज उनके पास पहले ही पैसा नहीं है वो चीजें करने के लिए. आप उनको बोल रहे हैं आप टेक्नोलॉजी खरीदो, इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल. कभी कभी हम भी नहीं करते हैं, राइट? ऐसा तो छोटी छोटी चीजों के लिए, राइट? आई मीन so why would farmers do that? How we can expect farmers to do that? That is why they ultimately did was they provide. So इसलिए वो उन्होंने नहीं किया. What they did, यहाँ से आप पढ़ सकते हैं, what they did is that if we provide technology at the intersection of buying and selling, then the technology acceptance was higher, and evaluating quality objectively leads to a 15 to 20% increase in its selling proposition. This is what they did by applying different kinds of technologies. Again, you can read it at your end. Please feel free to do so. So that's it. I'm happy to take some questions. These are my credentials. Happy to take. Okay, let me first go through the chat as well. मैंने कुछ questions पहले भी छोड़े थे. And by the way, जब तक आप लोग ये कर रहे हैं, requesting everyone, करीबन 80-90 लोग हैं यहाँ पे. Requesting everyone to put this feedback as well, please. आपको 10 सेकंड लगेंगे ये feedback देने में. तब तक मैं आपके questions लेने लगूँगा. Let me give this link. Alright, and thank you मालक जी. And आप ये लिंक पे क्लिक कीजिए. अगर आप फोन से भी एक्सेस कर रहे हैं, आप देखिएगा ये लिंक फोन से भी भरना कितना आसान है. 1 to 5 है फीडबैक में. अगर आप 5 भी देते हैं, नीचे आप लिख सकते हैं कि क्या था जो कि सबसे अच्छा था, ताकि आगे हम उसको और बेटर करें, राइट? तो आप प्लीज ये भरिए और मैं तब तक ऊपर जाता हूँ एक बार स्क्रॉल करके कि क्या क्वेश्चंस मैंने छोड़े हैं. बट प्लीज रिक्वेस्टिंग यू टू फिल द फीडबैक फॉर्म. जस्ट टेक्स 10 सेकंड और कंप्लीटली एनोनिमस है. मुझे नहीं पता चलेगा किसने क्या फीडबैक डाला है. ओके, टेकिंग आउट सम questions. मैंने कहाँ छोड़ा था, मैं थोड़ा सा भूल गया हूँ. The problem, yeah, agri infrastructure funds available for individual in establishing warehouse and up to how much? Mr. Mehta जी, हाँ यहाँ से मैंने शायद से छोड़ा था. No, I think. Okay, so yeah, see, agri infrastructure funds are available. I don't have the number. To be very honest, you might have to check it at your end on Google, or you can reach out to us and we can see that what consultancy we can give, and we can help you. But I don't have a number right in my mind right now that how much it is there. But हाँ, availability तो है. Infrastructure AIF funds are there, right? So you know that. Mr. Sharad has asked, how do you see scope for new warehouses in Maharashtra for dry storage? Yes, definitely it is there. Though it is a huge network of government warehouses in Maharashtra, but if you're talking about private warehouses, ऐसा नहीं है कि private नहीं होते हैं. किसी के साथ हमारी भी बातें चल रही है. क्या पता आप create करें and फिर आप भी अपने farmers को काफी ease of access दे, and you work with someone like us, like a platform like World. So there's a lot of scope. And जैसे मेहता जी ने कहा कि AIF funds available है, infrastructure funds, वो शायद से आपको काफी काम आए, और dry storage में आपको बैंक loans भी देंगे. So that is going to be a very good facility that you can think upon. Mr. Damodar said the problem with India's largest private bank is giving loan at 9%. They have ROI nothing less than 15 to 18%. That is a big barrier probably, and it is not probably, it is a big barrier. Something that even we are trying to evaluate right now with the bank, that what can be done. But then again, that's a very business problem that everyone faces in this segment. But yeah, you are right. You're right. Some banks are able to provide at 9%. But yeah, if we are able to, reduce the underwriting cost, if we're able to reduce the overall cost of lending, it becomes a more viable option for banks to do this. And then we are reducing the millions of dollars in fraud. मिला जुला के काफी viable option हो जाता है. इतना हमने देखा है अभी. बाकी आगे बिजनेस करके पता चलेगा इनके साथ. But जितने अभी हमारे lenders हैं उनके साथ तो हमने ऐसे ही experience किया है. Then Mr. Shishananda said that we are using Salesforce CRM cloud technology. Can we collaborate for some of the solution? Please reach out, Mr. Shishananda. I gave my credentials, and I'll also give it here again. आप screenshot भी ले सकते हैं. So you can see on the screen I've given my credentials. Please feel free to reach out. देखते हैं क्या कर सकते हैं. Definitely कुछ ना कुछ कर सकते हैं. आप भी startup है, हम भी startup है. हम दोनों पूसा कृषि से रिलेटेड है, राइट? हमारी जर्नी भी पूसा कृषि के साथ स्टार्ट हुई थी थोड़े समय पहले. आपकी स्टार्ट हो रही है शायद, तो बिल्कुल लेट्स सी व्हाट वी कैन डू फॉर ईच अदर. And I think even if you just put your particular request to directly to पूसा कृषि टीम, they will map out कि कहाँ से क्या हेल्प मिल सकता है. ये काफी बढ़िया चीज है जो शायद से आपको हेल्प कर सकती है. Where can we get these kind of data? अच्छा, so मैं थोड़ा सा क्वेश्चन मिस कर गया हूँ. ये शायद से उस टाइम के कॉन्टेक्स्ट पे था, तो I don't know if I'll be able to answer this or not. Please walk us through your experience to get first user validation. First user validation, very good question. I think this is a very good question. First user validation, it happened when we when we onboarded our first of all, we onboarded a set of warehouses and we onboarded the Maharashtra State Cooperative Bank. Then we started giving out the loans. First few days, first of all, कोई भी लोन नहीं होता था क्योंकि फार्मर्स को पता होना तो दूर की बात है, वेयरहाउस अभी 1400 वेयरहाउस है, एटलीस्ट 194 लोकेशंस है, तो उसमें एक एक वेयरहाउस इंचार्ज, एक एक डेटा ऑपरेटर तो थे। पूरे के पूरे 194 डेटा ऑपरेटर्स को तक ये नहीं पता है कि कहाँ क्या चल रहा है, राइट, कहाँ क्या है, ये प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हुआ है, फिर हमने ट्रेनिंग दिया, हमने अवेयरनेस क्रिएट किया, फिर हमने उन्हें बोला कि आप फार्मर्स में अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करो, बड़ा टाइम लगा, ठीक है, शुरू करने में बहुत टाइम लगा, बट जब शुरू हो गया तो पेस पकड़ लिया, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट। फिर बट व्हेन वी गिव इट टू द फर्स्ट कस्टमर वी गॉट टू अंडरस्टैंड अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स। सो वैलिडेशन यही से हुआ। एक तो पहले हमारा प्रोसेस इतना आसान नहीं था, राइट, व्हेन आई टोल्ड यू कि सिर्फ एंड्रॉइड ऐप पे है, तो फार्मर आके कह रहे कि यार हम कैसे करेंगे, फिर हमने बोला ओके हम फोन पे आपकी मदद करते हैं, कॉल पे। अब कॉल पे मेरा सेल्स का बंदा फोन पे फार्मर से सुन रहा है कि मैं ये स्क्रीन देख रहा हूँ, वो स्क्रीन देख रहा हूँ, बहुत अच्छा आइडिया नहीं था ये, ठीक है। सो आई मीन वी फेस्ड अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स, फार्मर भी परेशान हो रहे कि अरे कब तक करूंगा मैं ये फोन ले रहे की। We redesigned it, right? Validation. Again, we saw कि डॉक्यूमेंट अपलोड में प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, उसके लिए हमने एक अपने चेंज किया फीचर में, अब बड़ा आसान हो गया है। अब वेयरहाउस, पहले वेयरहाउस इंचार्ज बोलते थे यार आपके पूरा प्रोसेस करने में आधा घंटा चला जाता है पर कस्टमर, मैं तो पूरे दिन यही करता रहूंगा, मेरा तो ये पूरा नया जॉब बन गया है, राइट, मैं बाकी काम कब करूंगा। हमने प्रोसेस में किया चेंज, अब वो सीधे बनता है 2-3 मिनट 5 मिनट में। वेयरहाउस पूछता भी नहीं है, वेयरहाउस इंचार्ज डज नॉट इवन आस्क अस, डायरेक्टली गोज अस, कोई हेल्प नहीं चाहिए उनको, राइट। कितने वेयरहाउस इंचार्ज है जो डायरेक्टली कर लेते हैं और शाम में ग्रुप पे डाल देते हैं कि आज मैंने यहाँ से 6 लोन हुआ, टोटल अमाउंट 72 lakhs, वेरी गुड, आई मीन सो फिनोमिनल, राइट। टोटल कस्टमर्स हेल्प 21, वाओ, these numbers पहले हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट ही नहीं करते थे, बट या स्टार्टिंग के कस्टमर्स में whenever we got that we understood our validation. I hope I answered your question. Okay, origin of your idea. So origin of our idea came from the fact that we were able to see, first of all, we were into blockchain. My co-founder has a farming and an agricultural background, so वो भी उनके माइंड में था, ये भी था, blockchain था। I am a pure blockchain guy, so then he came up with this idea कि यार यहाँ इतने frauds हो रहे हैं, banks are facing such an amount of frauds, India बाहर हर जगह, इससे बड़ा मार्केट क्या चाहिए। एंड blockchain अभी बूम पे है, हो ही रहा था उस टाइम पे, 2018-19 हमेशा ही था बूम पे, तो अभी काफी ज्यादा, कुछ ज्यादा ही है, सभी ने सुना होगा। सो ब्लॉकचेन वाज अ वेरी गुड सॉल्यूशन देयर, एंड देन वी केम अप विद द सॉल्यूशन कि ब्लॉकचेन को यूज करके अटैक करते हैं सॉल्यूशन को, एंड द बैंक, फिर बैंक्स को भी कुछ बोलने के लिए नहीं होगा, बिकॉज़ दिस विल सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम 100%, व्हिच इज व्हाट दे डिड एंड व्हिच इज व्हाट वी आर सीइंग। बैंक्स को मना कर रहे कि यार ये सॉल्यूशन हमें तो नहीं लग रहा है कि जरूरत है। अगर उन्होंने फ्रॉड फेस किया है, उन्होंने पुराने लेगेसी टेक्नोलॉजीज यूज करके इसकी कोशिश करी है, उन्हें ये भी समझ आ गया होगा कि इसके बिना नहीं चलेगा। So it was that's how our origin of the idea came. Which part of agri sector should startup should address? So of course, this is a very subjective question. In fact, completely, very subjective, to be honest, because everything. You remember the slide bird's eye view, agri tech and agri fintech. अब आपके thought process पे, अगर आपको लगता है, if you think that there's a lot of you have better, what do you call it, if you have better experience in the finance domain, in the technology domain specifically, then build a fintech or an agri fintech startup and help the farmers like we are doing, because we thought that we had that. If you have more ground level experience working with farmers, working with on farmlands, right, in these areas, supply chain areas, produce areas, this, that, all of those areas, right, receivables, trade finance, exporter, importer, or as a miller, any of these experiences if you have, then I believe that that is the pre-harvest agri-tech kind of a startup is something that you should build. Again, very subjective to what either you already have an idea, and if you don't have an idea, right, if you don't already have an idea, or if you are in the initial stages of an idea based on which you have pitched to Pusaprishi as well, maybe if you need more mentorship, I think all these sessions that are happening, right, I think a couple of days back, I think Chintamani sir would have had a session, I saw it on the agenda. Amazing person, and he's so good, right? Satish sir, you must have attended that. I think it was 3-4 days back. He's so good. Even beyond the program, he's on WhatsApp. Even beyond the program, we ask something to him. He's so happy to help. He comes on a video call immediately. His face is so always happy, and he gives a different kind of an energy, right? I always love talking to him. Okay, and I'm so glad that I'm also able to present in a forum where he is also a speaker. It is very good. So reach out to such people. Reach out to me if you believe that I'll be able to add any value. Reach out to these people. Otherwise आप reach out करेंगे कुशल ऋषि को directly तो वो तो पूरा match कर देंगे आपको कि क्या चाहिए और कौन है जो आपको ये problem का solution दे सकता है. Yeah. So if you are in that stage, feel free to reach out. Take mentorship now. Don't wait for mentorship to come to you. Right? Snatch mentorship. Grab mentorship. All right. I hope I answered your question. So do you give internship to BTech IT pass out? What should be initial preparation? Yeah, definitely we do give. We do give internships and in blockchain, in full stack. You know, so computer science वाले भी है, sales वाले भी है. We just hired 4 sales interns last week itself. Last week, in one single week, we closed four successful internship rounds. So yeah, you know, in operations भी है, HR भी है. We are a very small startup, but we keep on hiring. We usually keep on hiring. Again, Mr. Amitabh, please feel free to reach out. And if you are the one, or if you have someone who wants to apply for an internship or anything, please just refer them to me, and I'll interview them, or someone from the team will interview them. Yeah, please feel free to reach out. Reach out is the answer to everything. काफी चीजें यहाँ पे सबके लिए 100 जनों के लिए relevant नहीं होगा तो हम डिस्कस क्या करेंगे, but personally let's discuss that. Okay. Is there any NBFC or bank that provides receivable financing of fresh produce perishable commodities? Yes, many do. Not sure about bank. There are many NBFCs that do, because we are not into perishable commodities. So I might not be the right person to give you that answer, but maybe you have to search at your end. But इतना तो पता है कि हाँ definitely है. Definitely there are there, but I don't have the names to share. Right? Okay. What is the basic unit where the data enters? Who can access it? It's the blockchain where the data enters. Real-time data from blockchain is fetched across all panels and including the farmers app and given to them. And anyone who has an access can do it based on your privileges. If you're a farmer, you can only, from the blockchain, you can only access your WHR data. If you're a bank, you can only access those WHR data जिन्होंने आपको as a bank choose किया था loan apply करते time panel में या Android app पे, right? या तो warehouse में या Android app पे अगर उन्होंने choose किया था कि हाँ मैं HDFC के साथ लगाना चाहता हूँ लोन, तो HDFC को दिखेगा कि आप कौन हो, आपका क्या प्रोड्यूस है, एंड सो ऑन. Otherwise everything is there on a blockchain explorer. वो भी एक लॉगिन के बाद है, बट उसपे सारा डेटा एन्क्रिप्टेड होता है. बट या देयर आर अदर लाइक आपने बिटकॉइन इथेरियम के ब्लॉकचेन एक्सप्लोरर शायद देखे होंगे, वहां सब कुछ पब्लिक होता है. हमारे यहाँ पे वो परमिशन है थोड़ा सा, तो वो एन्क्रिप्टेड होता है एंड वो आफ्टर अ लॉगिन. Alright, yes, thanks, very helpful. Thank you, thanks, Mr. Amitabh. Thank you for the okay. Thanks for the words. Okay, these are I don't think I have any question left. So we have 3:55. I am good to close as well.
We have 2 hand raises. Abhishek, I'll take Niharika in.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Hello.
Hi, Abhishek. Am I audible?
Hi.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for such practical advices and insights. Really appreciate it. Secondly, my question is related to grants. Could you give us more insights on what should be the ideal process, or what should be ideal key points to keep in mind when your startup is looking forward for grants as the source of revenue for initial 6-7 months? Is there anything must do or to do that one should remember? Maybe any of the insight would be really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the question. One very direct and very simple answer, because the answer has to be simple. Then only, out of these 100 people, maybe, at least 50 are encouraged to look out for grants, right? Very simple answer is that look out for the applications. Only one thing you have to do is fill the application form, right? That is one formality that you have to do. Secondly, you have to make sure that your product matches one of those grants. So आप वही search करेंगे. You will only search those which match your product, match your segment, or match your vision, right? जहाँ पे आप काम कर रहे हैं. जैसे हमारे लिए था गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का मैच करना, या हमारे लिए यूनाइटेड नेशंस डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम का मैच करना, क्योंकि उनका भी यही एम था कि एसडीजी को फर्दर करें. हमारा भी यही गोल था कि हम एसडीजी को कर रहे हैं, फार्मर्स को हेल्प कर रहे हैं, इम्पैक्ट सेगमेंट में कर रहे हैं, तो मैच करके, एंड इट वाज वेरी इजी फॉर अस टू apply for them, right? And while you're applying, again, one very specific feedback here, or one specific suggestion here, that for everyone, please tailor your applications. एक simple single same application को उठा के आप हर जगह पे अगर apply कर देंगे just to save you some time, मैंने ये किया है पहले, मेरे इससे पहले भी 2 स्टार्टअप्स थे जहाँ पे मैं यही करता था. ओके, सब बिजी थे, सब बिजी, एवरीवन इज सो बिजी दैट यू नो नो वन हैज टाइम टू क्रिएट टेलर्ड एप्लीकेशन. प्रोडक्ट डेवलप करे कि एप्लीकेशन भरे ग्रांट का. 50 ग्रांट है, उसमें से 2 में शायद आप सेमीफाइनल फाइनल की पहुंचोगे और उसमें से 1 ग्रांट मिलेगा आपको, लक अच्छा हो तो. कौन 50 एप्लीकेशन बनाएगा? What we did here is that for the first time, I also experienced, you know, I saw my co-founder do so, I did myself did so, is that अगर कोई whatever is the application we have tailored, written from scratch, कि अगर UNDP है, UNDP को क्या चाहिए, उसको कोई मतलब नहीं है कि हमने इससे पहले क्या पिच किया है इंडियन स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स को या इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ग्रांट्स को, नहीं मतलब है. That is something I believe, guys, for every one of you here, this is a very important thing that I have learned, right, in my 3rd startup now, which I think you can follow from right on, which has helped us a lot. That is why, and that not only that, we have, you know, and we present ourselves, we present ourselves specifically to a particular organization where who has gotten in touch with us or we have gotten in touch with them. And that is why we have received recognition. Aap numbers dekho, we in 2021 itself, we have received 19 recognitions, which includes awards as well as grants as well as accelerator admits, सारा मिला के 2021 में, अभी तक 12वां महीना भी कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ है और हमें ऑलरेडी 19 ऐसे रिकॉग्निशंस मिल चुके हैं, एक्कोलार्ड्स मिल चुके हैं. ऐसा मुझे पुराने 2 स्टार्टअप में तो कभी नहीं मिला, बिकॉज वी वर नेवर टेलरिंग आवर एफर्ट्स, राइट. हियर वी डू दैट, फिल द एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म एंड सी व्हाट दैट market needs or what that organization needs. I hope I'm able to answer your question. But yeah, look out, go into the email lists, right? Email list में अपना email डाल दीजिए ताकि आपके पास email आए कि UNDP has opened this grant, that grant, SDG Impact Accelerator, then you know फिर पूसा कृषि के भी अगले programs, then there are so many things that are happening at any point in time. 10 में अप्लाई करेंगे, 2 में आप आगे बढ़ेंगे, 1 आपको मिल जाएगा, बट करना पड़ेगा 10 में अप्लाई. Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much. I have one more question if you allow, and you can go.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, namaste.
Sir, मैं जा सकता हूँ क्या एक और last question के साथ?
Sure.
Yes, Niharika. Come on. Yeah.
So how to get into feedback loop? Initial feedback loop में कैसे हैं? What to keep in mind while coming into initial 5-10 customer का feedback loop, especially since I am not a software and hardware company. So I think my idea is to get into feedback loop only with the paid customer. और उसमें जब आ जाते हैं तो what are the key things to remember to know the real reviews rather than the supposed reviews?
Yeah, so supposed reviews के लिए आपको अपने questions ऐसे tailor करने पड़ेंगे ताकि आपको supposed reviews ना मिले, right? For example, a very top of the head example, I gave you this feedback form, right? So yeah, this reminds guys, everyone who has not filled this form, takes 10 seconds, please fill the feedback form. ये बहुत help होता है आगे for me. It's an anonymous form. Now, I know आप में से जितने लोग ये form भरेंगे, right? What I did, first of all I told you that it just takes 10 seconds, and what I did, I made it an anonymous form and super short, right? Anonymous form. मुझे पता है कि जो भी ये भर रहे हैं, उनको ये तो पता है कि I will not be able to know that कि निहारिका filled it or Mr. Amitabh filled it or so on. बट सो आई नो दैट कि आप सही भरोगे, जो भी आपके दिल में वो भरोगे. तो अगर आप अच्छा कह रहे हैं तो ये एक्चुअली अच्छा था, बुरा कह रहे हैं तो ऑब्वियसली जो था वो था, आप बता रहे हैं, राइट. दैट इज द होल पॉइंट. सो व्हेन आई इंटरव्यू माय फार्मर्स, आई आल्सो मेक श्योर दैट माय इंटरव्यूज आर टेलर्ड इन दैट फैशन दैट की क्वेश्चंस ऐसे हो, वो तो थोड़ा आपको खेलना पड़ेगा अपने गट पे, अपने बिजनेस मॉडल पे, अपने प्रोडक्ट पे, कि क्या ऐसे क्वेश्चन पूछूं जिसका फार्मर बना के आंसर नहीं देगा. कैसे मैं ऐसा करूं कि मैं जो फीडबैक ले रहा हूं वो बस 5 भरने वाला फीडबैक ना हो, राइट. कि सब बिना देखे क्वेश्चन क्या है देख ही नहीं रहा है कोई और भर रहा है, या फोन पे जो भी आप पूछ रहे हैं पीपल आर सेइंग हाँ बहुत बढ़िया, ऐसा ना हो. अगेन दैट्स अ योर प्ले दैट यू हैव टू डू. But yeah, so yeah, this is something you can keep in mind.
Thank you so much for such practical advice. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Means a lot. So, Ankur, last question maybe because मैं थोड़ा सा late हो गया हूँ. 402 हो गया.
Yeah, definitely. Anil is there. So Anil.
सर नमस्ते. मैं अनिल कुमार, वेस्टर्न राजस्थान में नागौर डिस्ट्रिक्ट है. मैं वहाँ पर अपना
आपका कट हो गया शायद से, या मेरा कट हो गया. अंकुर, could you hear him?
नहीं, अनिल का कट हो गया. अनिल, आवाज आपका कट हो गया.
Okay. Ankur, can we take his question on WhatsApp group or somewhere and you can send it to me on WhatsApp and I'll.
Yeah, definitely. Anil, आप अपना जो एक बार फिर से मैं तुमको लास्ट टाइम we will try.
हाँ सर, yes.
हाँ जी.
मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है कि भाई मैं जो वेयर हाउस बना रहा हूँ उसमें क्या क्या वेस्टर्न राजस्थान में क्रॉप सिर्फ एक ही होती है, बाकी सारा सीजन के ऊपर डिपेंड होता है, तो बारिश की एक ही फसल होती है। किसान अपनी फसल सिर्फ वेयर हाउस में एक ही टाइम 3 से 4 महीने की मैक्सिमम स्टोर में रख पाएगा, बाकी टाइम मेरा वेयर हाउस खाली रहेगा सर। ऐसे टाइम में मेरी इनकम प्रभावित होगी, तो मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि इसको थोड़ा सा इलाज करने के लिए कुछ प्राइवेट कंपनी से अगर मेरा कोलैबोरेशन हो सके तो वो स्टोर करें वहाँ। तो ऐसी कंपनीज को मैं कैसे कांटेक्ट करूँ या कैसे वहां तक पहुंच सकूँ?
Okay, so this is a very very unique kind of a question for me also. I believe that this is a case. See, ये केस क्या है कि सिर्फ राजस्थान में नहीं है, ये केस काफी जगहों पे है कि सीजनल क्रॉप्स तो सीजनली है ना, तो काफी सीजनल क्रॉप्स होते हैं, राइट? एंड स्पेशली अगर आप ड्राई फ्रूट्स एंड ऑल नहीं रखते तो आप सीजनल क्रॉप्स में आपका क्या है कि किसी ना किसी टाइम पे बहुत एक्सोडस आएगा। जैसे अभी आपको पता है ना, थोड़े 1.5 महीने पहले हमने क्या देखा, सभी को पता है कि सोयाबीन, हर फार्मर आके सोयाबीन जमा कर देते, राइट? इट्स सोयाबीन, राइट? एंड सोयाबीन का कॉस्ट भी काफी गिर गया था मार्केट में, तो बनता भी है जमा करना, राइट? तो सो जैसे ये है, बट जब हो जाएगा ये, फिर दिल्ली 3 अभी देखिए जनवरी फरवरी में वो लोग डिलीवरी ले लेंगे, उसके बाद सोयाबीन वाले जहां रखे तो पूरा एरिया खाली, राइट? तो ये प्रॉब्लम तो है ही है, तो ये तो आप फेस करेंगे। बट गवर्नमेंट वेयर हाउस में तो एक तो मैंने ऐसा होते हुए देखा नहीं है कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल नो प्राइवेट कंपनीज आर दैट वे वर्किंग विद दोस वेयर हाउसेस। आपका जैसे प्राइवेट वेयर हाउसेस है तो आप आई मीन आई माइट नॉट बी द राइट पर्सन टू आंसर दिस कंप्लीटली, बट आप राइट बट आप फिर ऐसे कोशिश कर सकते हैं ना कि जिनका फिर आप या तो एक पार्ट को कोल्ड स्टोरेज कर लीजिए, जिनका आपको लोन भले ही नहीं मिलेगा बट फिर आपको प्राइवेट गुड्स रख के आपको उसका एक वो मिल जाएगा ना, स्टोरेज फी मिल जाएगी, राइट?
सर मैं वहाँ पर सेकंड पार्ट में एक दाल मिल डाल रहा हूँ ताकि मेरी थोड़ी रिकरिंग अमाउंट हो सके जिससे मैं अपना,
हाँ, क्योंकि वो तो हमेशा चलेगा ना, वो हमेशा चलेगा। सो हाँ, तो वो स्पेस को आप उसके लिए यूज कर सकते हैं, बट अगेन मैं शायद से सही बंदा नहीं हूँ इसको पूरा आंसर करने के लिए, बट हाँ दिस इज समथिंग यू कैन ट्राई, बट अगेन यू हैव टू, आपको थोड़ा देखना पड़ेगा ये।
तो कुछ प्राइवेट जो बड़ी अमेज़न और इस तरह की कंपनीज होते हैं, ये अपने वेयर हाउस से डेवलप
करते हैं, बट उनके करते हैं, बट उनके यूजुअली खुद के वेयर हाउसेस होते हैं, बट हाँ ये लाइसेंस तो करते हैं, बट देन अगेन आई माइट नॉट बी एबल टू हेल्प विद दैट। बट आप अगर कहीं से कांटेक्ट निकालते हैं ना, अप्लाई करते हैं, आप एक काम कीजिए ना, आप अगर ऐसे ही है तो Amazon बिजनेस करके जो है आप वहां जाके देखिए एक बार की वेबसाइट पे क्या डालते हैं वो लोग, राइट? Amazon बिजनेस वाला भी पार्ट होता है
वो, मैंने सर लॉजिस्टिक पे उनके ट्राई करा था, वहां से कोई रिप्लाई नहीं आया अभी तक, तो मैं वेट कर रहा हूँ या और भी ट्राई कर रहा हूँ कि कोई दूसरी फर्म से बड़ी से मैं कोलैबोरेशन कर सकूं जो अपना वेयर हाउस रेंट पे दे सकूं, बिल्ड टू सूट पे दे सकूं उनको।
हाँ जी, तो बस फिर वही आपको कोशिश ही करना पड़ेगा, मेरे एडिशन नहीं करना।
आपकी तरफ से भी अगर कोई हेल्प मिल जाएगी तो ठीक रहेगा सर।
हाँ, बट अगर मेरे माइंड में आता तो मैं आपको इमीडिएटली बता देता, बट इस फील्ड में नहीं हम लोग, इसका ये काम ही नहीं करते हैं, इसीलिए।
ओके सर, ओके, थैंक यू सो मच सर।
थैंक यू Rajit. Ankur, I am badly
yeah definitely Abhishek, we can close it up, wrap it up now.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone, thanks for coming, thanks Abhishek for giving your valuable time. It was an insightful session. Yeah,
thanks Ankur, I'll drop. Thank you everyone, bye.
Yeah, thank you everyone.